don't remember if I did that or not. I gotta look. Hello and welcome to Drunken Dragon Gaming, where the drinks are cold, the meals are warm, and the games are on fire. Tonight's Thursday, typically tabletop night. Tonight's going to be a little different. We're well, the only person we got with us is going to be SavageGM. So we're actually going to be kind of discussing the state of the game, discussing where we want to go with it. We're going to do some background work, and I thought it'd be nice for you guys to be able to see how some of this stuff's done, some of the prep work that GMs do to prepare a story. So that'll be what's going on tonight. And due to that, that's just going to be he and I this evening. I will respond to chat throughout the stream, and then next time hopefully we'll be able to kick off with a bit more. We are in search of some reliable players. We've had some that have had to drop. As you guys know, Oshtur let us know that he had to leave because of work obligations. Another buddy of ours, he's not been able to make it due to some health reasons. And then Kenparka just recently, he had to bow out due to some real life things that came up. So now it's down to basically myself, SavageGM, and Flaristic. So yeah, we're going to be searching for some additional players to be able to join this campaign. I got a couple of people I am talking to, but if anybody is interested, feel free to DM me on Discord, and we'll see about getting you fit into the game. So without any further ado, though, I'm gonna go unmute myself over here on Discord, and we'll start chatting here with SavageGM. All right, we are live.
Okay.
How we doing?
We is good.
So, what I'm going to have up on the screen for the chat to see for most times is going to be this regional map of Delphos. Because, there are some storyline pieces that we'll be able to discuss this evening of future thoughts. So one of the challenges, Chad, is, me as the GM, I could come up with an entire storyline that's, say, up in the Golden Savannah, and the guys decide they want to go down south to the Spelled Mountain Spire because they got their own idea. All right, Flaristic, have yourself a good night. They can go wherever they want to on the map. So, sometimes I can take whatever I built in one area and just pick it up and drop it off in another area to kind of just adjust the storyline. Other times, and Scott, you have to do this many times as a GM as well. The party goes somewhere off left field. You're going, well, I guess we're winging it tonight.
You have no idea. Yeah, the rule of thumb is planned spontaneity. Yeah,
so
that's for sure. Yeah,
and
I've got a whole bunch of encounters that are just set up for just random anything, that kind of stuff, So I always have a stable of NPCs that have not been introduced yet,
right?
That I can just plug right in. So
yeah, sometimes I've not built my stable of NPCs, and so I have to create the NPC on the fly too.
Very much so. Been there and done that too.
And that's when it gets real interesting, because then you got to keep all your NPCs straight, which is why you keep a notepad next to your keyboard to note down anything you created.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to be too inebriated when you're doing it, because then the next day when you try reading your notes, you can look at them and just go, what the hell does this mean?
Been there. That's why I don't drink so much when I'm gaming anymore. Yeah. I got happy drunk, and then everything went to shit after that.
Man. Give me a second.
Right.
I'm gonna reboot my headset real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Powering off. Powering on. Mic on.
All right, let's see if it behaves better.
Yeah.
Because normally it doesn't cut out on me when I'm standing in the doorway, but it kept on cutting out. So, all right, yeah, it's better now.
All right.
So you'd sent me a message asking about my thoughts on henchmen.
Yes.
So why don't we start off the discussion with that?
Yes.
So henchmen, I like them and I hate them.
Yeah, because that means you've got to work too. Me
Um,
too, for that matter.
well, the challenge that I've always encountered with henchmen is if I make it possible to purchase or rent a fighter, per se, then number one, I gotta kind of give them at least a minor background story, which that's no problem, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
The bigger issue that I've encountered in the past is, I'd create, say, 10, 20 guys for the group to pick from. So those jerks went, we're going to hire all of them. So now I got 20 henchmen to go with the party.
Yeah, then it's just a matter of NPC management at that point. Yeah, that's a prickly situation.
It does have a flashing light.
Yeah.
My wife is away at her Girl Scouts thing for learning about what the cookie season is going to be like, and so I have all the kids by myself.
Aye, good for you.
And so the little man, he's gotten much more interested in talking to Daddy, and he always waits until he hears me talking on the computer, and that's when he wants to bring me all of his toys and show me what they do and talk to me about them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what kids do, because they are not the center of attention.
Right. If I'm sitting there in silence just watching a show, I get completely ignored. As soon as I start talking to somebody on the computer, Daddy, this toy does this.
Yep, that's what happens.
Oh, and he's gotten big into his, he loves his Transformers.
Very cool.
And I'm very excited to say that Bumblebee is not his favorite Transformer. Optimus Prime is.
Well, that's cool. Okay.
So,
well, the reason why I'd asked is because I've been considering creating some magic items.
Yep.
And the problem I run into is how many days I can dedicate to creating a magic item and it not be 3 or 4 fucking years.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of weird when it comes to the magic item creation rule set, because I get where they're coming from, where you put all these years into making it, and that's what makes it so valuable, and that's why there's not an overabundance of them in the world. But at the same time, I don't want to tell somebody, all right, well, your character's busy for the next 4 years.
Yeah. See, that's why looking at the rules, and specifically the slow and sure method of enchanting, it says each mage can produce basically 1 energy point per day that goes toward enchanting. In other words, a mage day, 8 hours worth of work, 1 energy point. Okay. And let's say, for example, I'm trying to do an enchantment. In fact, I've actually kind of done the math already. And I wanted to add deflection or deflect to the cloak I wear, right?
Okay.
And so I was thinking that I could do my character and hire 4 other. They could be just people holding candles and stuff, and kind of doing a thing. So I'll basically wind up doing 5 energy points per day, which would reduce the duration of enchantment from 500 days down to 100 days.
True.
That's what I was thinking about doing. Hiring some people, throw some money at it, and we get it done.
Right.
So that way I'm characters out of a net only 3 months for the most part.
Well, and Rinvoq's not a young man either.
No, of course not.
So some of the thoughts that I put into with item creation has been, you guys are main characters. And so the consideration I've given is to give some leeway in the amount of time that it takes to craft magical items.
Right.
Including, one of the things that, sadly y'all didn't get and find, hey Gamemaster, was down at the bottom of Misery Castle. If y'all had gone through that area, you would have actually found some equipment to add to your magic lab that would enhance crafting magical items.
Well, we can always go back. I mean, if you wanted to do that for the next story arc, for example.
Yeah, and that was a thought. But I'm thinking that might be kind of the mid-story arc. We won't pick up the next arc. We'll kind of do the cleanup at Misery, and then pick up the next story arc, because the back end of Misery downstairs kind of leads into that next potential arc, and that's going to be dealing with false Cardis and that kind of stuff. Potentially. But you guys have got, we've got all of Delphos available to explore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the other thought that I had was, well, I don't have to have it over there at the castle. Since it wasn't found there, I can drop it somewhere else on the map for you guys to find.
Of course, yeah.
Which to me makes it a little bit more interesting, because then you're exploring somewhere else and not going back to the same place over and over again, because that gets...
Yeah, I know. You don't want us mining for magic items. I get it.
Right.
Okay. Well, what about then, of course, looking at, like, say, when it comes to creating magic items, going with the quick and dirty enchantment process.
See, that's what I was thinking. I like the quick and dirty. And I mean, okay, yeah, it can be more expensive, but I think it makes it more interesting, and I think it makes it easier on you as a player crafting stuff as well.
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, because here we go. Blah, blah, blah.
The only thing that I don't allow to be quick and dirty is Power Stones.
Yeah, well,
now granted,
one, and that's enough, because the more you have, the more difficult it is to get them charged and shit. So,
well, and I was going to bring up, I do technically allow the quick and dirty powering on the Power Stones, but then I go and yank out my 3rd edition Magic book that has all the quirks for the Power Stones.
Yeah.
Which those are fun. I like the voracious. The voracious Power Stone is my favorite one. Because
there is a spell specifically for powering Power Stones.
Yep.
So, which I'm okay with, but I don't have it. And like I said, I'm gonna leave sleeping dogs lying for now. The most important thing, what I was going to do, or the two things I want to do, add a little bit of defense bonus.
Sure.
To the cloak, and add some additional parriness of whatever. I know there's a word for it. To my staff, so that if if I want get attacked, I can at least parry with it really well. I mean, it already parries well, but I want it to be like almost impossible to not be,
Right. No, I'm with you.
Especially considering that it seems that more and more often I've been finding myself closer to the front line.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, what I am going to say is, I'm not going to say no to henchmen. However, I do want to limit the number of henchmen that we're going to have traveling with us. Yeah. Now, let's look at things from the other side. Let's say we don't find any players for the next couple sessions to be able to join us.
Yeah.
Well, then absolutely henchmen. So we can fill out the party. No questions asked. I'll build some extra mercenaries and we'll make it happen. I just henchmen. That it's got that razor's edge on where it could be good and where it could go horribly, horribly wrong. And the other problem with henchmen that I've seen with players is once they know that they can buy henchmen, there's no role-playing attachment to the henchman. It's, well, if that guy dies, we'll just go buy another one.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. That's all.
I mean, I've seen that happen in the past, and that's... And that's something I prefer not to happen. Now, granted, I don't see you and Flaristic doing that. You're a GM, and it's just not in Flaristic's personality.
No, I would not say so. Well, if I was going to hire any henchman, then it would be this guy.
So chat. I'll just pull this over on my screen so you guys can see. This is who he's saying he would hire with the coconuts.
Absolutely. Why not?
That's great.
Absolutely.
So now I did discover something else this week.
Yes.
We've been running into issues with the stream, and having the low latency and having random issues showing up, even when we're just doing our tabletop. And the discovery that I have made was it was a mistake I was making.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got 3 screens. So I've got Streamlabs up on one screen, so I can watch and see how things are set. And I can also, that's where all my controls are.
Yeah.
Then the middle screen, that's got the game. Whether it's the tabletop game or a video game, whatever, that's the main screen. Then my right-hand screen, that's got my Discord, but I would also have YouTube up. I'd have the YouTube studio up there because that would show me what kind of connection the stream has, show me what kind of drops, what kind of issues, do I have an audio issue, anything like that. Well, the problem with having that up is that now my GPU is rendering the same graphics 3 times.
Wow. Yeah. Good Lord.
And then also, because I've got YouTube up, it's also eating my internet bandwidth on my machine.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
sure is, isn't it?
Because, I've got Foundry up, I'm playing a multiplayer game, whatever, and then I've got Streamlabs up, which is using bandwidth, and then I've got YouTube up, which is eating bandwidth, and that was causing all kinds of issues. So, as of last night, I did a test with Icarus, because that was one that I was really having problems with. And instead of having the YouTube Studio up on my machine, I've got it up on my laptop. So I've got it pulled up on a separate machine. And the stream ran flawlessly.
Well, there you go. So you've been stress testing your graphics card for the hell of it, huh?
Pretty much. Going, let me see if I can melt this thing.
Yeah. I mean, mine's okay. It's good enough.
Now, some of the other discussion I wanted to have.
Yeah.
I'm going to change up where we're at on the map.
All right.
I plan on adding some stuff to this map. Because this is supposed to be a map that just kind of grows as the mercenary crew grows. So, right now we've got a smithy. You've got basically a bunkhouse. And then you've got yourself basically a farm out here. And then this building right here, this is supposed to be kind of this is kind of like your mage's area that's kind of empty. It's got kind of some lodge stuff with some heads hanging up there. But this is supposed to be kind of what's going to eventually become, the library and whatnot. Hey, buddy. Give me just a second. What's up, buddy? Oh, you going to bed? All right. Good night. All right. You sleep good. That's weird.
It's weird.
He never comes and tells me goodnight. So for him to come say,
Because Mama's not there, that's why.
Right? Well,
you just got defaulted to.
well, well, the thing is, he normally doesn't ever take himself to bed either. If Mom's out doing an event or something and he's home alone, he stays up.
He's ignoring you.
He stays up until Mom gets home.
Don't know what to tell you, man.
Oh, he's my little night owl.
Yeah.
Whereas my middle one, in 9 minutes she'll be passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has her cutoff time, and when it hits, just bam, down. I swear I could actually change the clock to make it her bedtime, and she'd go, "Oh, it's that time. Okay, I gotta go to bed." So, but I'm wanting to add in some additional buildings. Now, the fun thing is that with Dungeon Alchemist, a bunch of updates have been made to it, so I'm going to be able to add some good stuff to this map.
Well, that's nice.
And, the map will automatically expand as I add more little buildings to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is supposed to be kind of part of the... this is supposed to be kind of the scene that we're on when we're in between adventures. For y'all to say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go forge some equipment, I'm going to go fix this, I'm going to go do that. But it also gives a space for you guys to be able to go, okay, I want to build a thing here. And I can go, okay, I'm going to make a note of what you're wanting to put there, and then, what are you wanting to put there, and then I go into Dungeon Alchemist and I start making those adjustments.
Okay.
And then, of course, depending on what kind of buildings you're wanting, what it needs to be supplied with, we, of course, have to talk about cost. Do you got the money to be able to pay for it? And I'm assuming you guys are going to, I don't know this for certain, but I'm assuming you guys are going to be doing a kind of your personal funds, but then a kind of a mercenary camp fund. This is the money that goes here.
Okay.
That's what I guess. I mean, I know y'all are talking about splitting it evenly between people and everything, but I'm assuming that you need to have at least a share that goes into upkeep of the camp and building it up and getting your extra stuff in here that you want.
Well, true. If you look at it that way, then we'll have to consider that. First we'll need to figure out what the operating cost is for this place per month.
Right. Well, and I'm not looking at the operating cost per month. I'm not going to look at doing that kind of taxation on you. I'm just going to be looking at the cost of how much it's going to take to build a new building.
Okay. Well, lucky for you, I've actually I put together a little Excel calculator thing that helps build buildings.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, the only thing I haven't done was feed in where you're making your buildings out of wood. So,
okay,
because there's varying thicknesses and that affects a lot of things.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but I can still figure it out. It'll take me a few minutes to do it.
Yeah, but that's something I wanted to make available to you guys as well. Because I'm guessing that if Flaristic's going to be staying with y'all, then he's going to want to build at least a small shrine to the Tide Mother, because that's the god that he follows.
Yeah, we'll need a sanctuary of some sort.
And then if we wind up with somebody playing, say, a cleric type, and they decide to follow some other god. Yeah.
Unless, of course, those particular gods are okay with multi-denominational facilities.
Right. Luneia's not too bad about it. There are others that go, No. Mine is mine.
Very true, I guess.
So, but I did want to also give an opportunity for you guys to travel around a bit. So, if you want to go back up to the capital and maybe do some additional shopping or anything, we can add all that into the next session.
Well, I mean, that would be easy too, because I did figure out what the cost was to buy some of that stuff off the market, and luckily I can actually afford it.
Okay.
And the only thing, of course, well, here's the thing: when I did the loot, the only thing we didn't have was I guess you'd say we had a crate of loose gems and stuff, and we didn't go through and estimate its cost or value.
Right.
So and doing that, of course, is a straight pain in the ass.
Oh yeah. Well, I just have a straight number in my head that's what the crate was worth.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't get that information.
50,000.
Okay. Then I can make those adjustments on there. Yeah. And actually, honestly, we could probably take, I'd say, 20,000 of that, maybe, and put that toward building up our camp. Because I definitely would like to at least also put up a palisade around the encampment as well.
And
so,
that gets costly.
Yeah, it does. Doing the math, and yeah, it ain't cheap.
And that's just for a wooden one.
I know. I was messing around with. Heck, let me open this up. Where did I put it? Here we are.
But doing stone would take a whole heck of a lot longer.
Yeah, like I said, I've done some stuff, some looking.
Well, actually, technically, doing it with stone would take longer, but in some ways would actually be easier because your character has the shape stone spell.
Right, but that is also prohibitive because of the energy cost.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly, it's just easier doing it the old-fashioned way.
Well, I mean, you got your skill high enough, you can make one brick at a time for free.
Yeah. I mean, like the guy was it the Duncan's commercial? Make the brick. Here we are, construction calculator. Okay, so for example, all right, let's say we're going to do 600 feet of wall. Okay. At a height of 12 feet.
Yep.
And we're making it out of stones and crap we find everywhere, in other words, aka rubble. So it's still a stone wall. And we're only going to make it 4 feet thick.
Okay.
Okay? Pretty reasonable wall. Okay. Its cost is $1,320,192 gold.
Oh, geez. At what tech level?
That's at the tech level it is.
Okay.
We're at 4, that's at 4.
Okay.
Yeah, the materials and stuff, it doesn't matter based on that.
Right. Yeah. So that's a cost.
Let's say, for instance, we do, I don't know, hard earth. We just build it out of earth. It drops down to 293,000. It's just hard packed dirt.
It's just a big hill that goes around the place.
Yeah, pretty much. We could try making it out of concrete. That's only $3.5 million.
Yeah, actually, that'd be more expensive because concrete is TL6.
No, it's available at tech level 4 according to.
Really?
I got it from. Where was it? Where would I get it from? I think it's Low Tech Companion 3.
Okay.
I think. I'm gonna double check. I'll tell on myself here. I think it was Low Tech 3.
Oh, and I gotta remember how to add in that equipment file. Let's see, that's a compendium.
Yep, you import it as a compendium.
Yep, got it. I got it.
Maybe not there.
Alright. There it is.
I don't want low-tech instant armor. You big dummy. Low-tech.
Alright, let's see. 1 billion buckles.
See, that... I looked up that. A
That
billion
see,
buckle is a type of buckle that, like the Romans used for their belts.
Oh, okay. The thing that kind of looks like the infinity symbol.
Yeah, kinda.
Yep. Oh, yeah, there's the Bloodsteel Longsword. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Where the fuck did I find that?
Now, let's see. Is that set up as very fine?
Yep, there it is.
Yep, looks like
Okay,
it is.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was low-tech companion number 3. Yeah, concrete's available at tech level 2. Because the Romans invented it.
Right. But then we forgot how to make it for, 1,500 years.
Apparently in GURPS they did, remember. So
Oh,
there it is.
okay. Let's see. You got the cost on the Bloodsteel Longsword at 700. That feels light.
It's probably because the modifiers did not come through.
Okay.
That's probably what happened. Because it was like 27,000 or some shit.
Right. That makes more sense because it's a very fine weapon. So.
Oh, what the heck? Apparently I didn't save this, so let me go in here and put very fine on this. And delete that and save that. Yeah, it actually turns out to be 28,000.
Okay.
Because it has, it's got silver in it. It's a very fine and it has a 1 level of ornateness.
Yep.
So that's what I figured. I guesstimated, and initially, the base value is 700, but it balloons up to 28,000 after everything's done up on it.
Yeah, I knew it should balloon up. So that's why I was there just going, I think that looks a little light.
Yeah, it ballooned up like 400%. Or no. 4,000%.
So, but we'll update that here in a few. Yeah, I need to start adding all the different equipment and stuff in there. I mean, you imported a whole lot of stuff that's really easy to, grab and run with.
Well, certainly for my own game.
I think you did it in mine as well.
I've done some stuff. I don't think I think is I don't have permission to import like that, so I have to give it to you, and you import it. Anyway, there's some compendiums and stuff, so that's all in there.
Yeah, I think you actually brought in these compendiums.
I probably did when I had full access while I was helping you.
Oh, that's right. I altered your access.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got all the cool, martial arts equipment and all that kind of stuff. But all that stuff, I want to pull up in GCS so I can do the, whatever magical modifiers I'm doing to them or whatnot,
Yeah.
Need to get my Ixia coinage back in here.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. It would definitely be helpful.
Yeah, the problem is it's in an old equipment file, so it won't import into GCS anymore. So I just got to recreate it. Because I did originally intend on having coinages that were of different values, and different countries may or may not be willing to take said currency from other countries. Say you've got a whole bunch of money from false scars, you try using it up here in Delphos, you're going to get laughed out of the shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And possibly imprisoned because you're trying to use false scars money, so they're going to instantly assume you're from false scars, which means you're a spy.
Yeah, I know. Not so much these days. Okay. Okay, so there was 50. Yeah, okay, so I did have the 50,000 loose gems listed there. Huh, okay. So we already did the math. Never mind.
Do you really need a well there?
Well,
the reason
yes
I'm asking is because this right here, that is a freshwater spring.
See, I didn't have a chance to ask you that. See, I can't assume anything. So if that's a freshwater spring, that's great. We won't need a well.
Yep, that was one of the special things I gave y'all when I built this place. I went, that would be cool for them to have a freshwater spring.
Good. Okay.
It also means that the beer stuff you make here is really good.
Well, we need a couple of farms that do barley and hops and all that shit. And then we also need a beekeeper because we need to be able to make honey mead, and the bees help pollinate all the crops.
Right. And that's where I was looking at some of the costs of spending the money and everything would be going into not just hiring people. I mean, you'll hire people to move in and take on the job of the farming and the beekeeping and that kind of stuff. But you're literally paying for them to move here. Think of it like a relocation fee.
Well, I mean, there is that. But we could do it where they get a plot of land that they can farm, that is theirs,
Yep.
And it's basically they own it, of course, and they just provide services or products as part of the rent for the farm.
Sure.
I mean, that's one of the things that they used to do. So,
well, and I'm open to whatever business model y'all want to run with.
Yeah, I'd rather have people that are, not just in it for the money in a way, but honestly to have a legacy they can leave behind to their their descendants. So that's a good thing. Of course,
the one thing I do know about this map, I'll have to be careful with how big I make it, and I may have to kind of break up the mercenary camp into multiple maps.
Well, yeah.
Well, something about the loading issues that people like Tiny and that Michael would run into. Just because of internet bandwidth. Yeah,
that's true. That's an issue. Well, like one of the things that I would also, basically, anybody who's going to be a farmer can live, within proximity of the town. But there's always going to be a safe haven in case we're attacked. They come in and blah blah blah.
Right, right.
Like a normal castle is.
And
so
that's
you wouldn't necessarily have to set up all the farms and everything on a map. That saves time.
Right. Well, and that was part of the expectation. And no, I wasn't going to set up a farm for every single farmer you hire. We've got a nice sized farm on the map. There you go. We've got a farm.
Yeah, he's going to have to move.
He's even got pumpkins in the field.
Yeah, well, like I said, he's going to have to move.
Oh, we need to get rid of this farm?
Well, I got the Wizard Laboratory next to it. That's probably not good placement, especially considering it's also the proximity to the spring. No, we need to we probably need to move the lab actually to
Okay.
like the outskirts of town
Okay.
for the simple fact safety of everybody.
Well, and I needed to rebuild it anyways. To add in some of the new alchemy pieces and whatnot that's all available in Dungeon Alchemist. Matter of fact, here let me see if I can pull that up. It's been a little while since I opened it, and it does take a hot minute to open, even with the nicer stuff all set up. Do I even have it installed?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Thing is, I have it on Steam, and of course, I don't have it installed because I use primarily Gabriel Picard's stuff. So
Yeah.
the thing is, I just wish I didn't have to always use Steam for this. You know,
I
Can
get
I
that.
just not use Steam? That's what sucks. Is I don't like Steam because it just adds all the extra bullshit in there.
See, I use Steam heavily, but that's because I do a lot of gaming.
Yeah, I try to avoid that. Avoid this the Steam gaming.
And I see that my system has already lost its connection to my solid state drive again.
Oh, what the hell, dude?
Oh, something happened when I had to reboot the machine one day last week, and ever since then, it was bad. I was getting a CRC redundancy error on the drive, and then trying to initialize it wouldn't initialize. Finally, I had to go into BIOS and do a low-level format on the SSD. And then after I did the low-level format, I was able to reinitialize it and get it back up and running.
Yeah, I think I've got a Western Digital solid state drive for my my machine.
Yeah, mine's some no-name brand that I got off Amazon. I got it because it was inexpensive. 4 terabyte SSD.
Yeah, I think I'm running a 1 or 2.
But no, I think it was in the middle of trying to do something, and I had to hard shut down the machine. And when I did, it fried some kind of connection. So what I wound up having to do is I have to completely shut down my machine. Then I have to disconnect the SSD and reconnect it, and then it works fine for several hours or days. But then it'll lose its connection again, and I was like, okay, gotta kill everything and reconnect it. Because, like, if I don't disconnect it and reconnect it, if I were to reboot the machine, say right now, I'm not going to, of course, because I'm in the middle of streaming. But if I were to just reboot the machine, then when it would reboot, my 4 terabyte SSD will have vanished out of my drive list.
I freaking hate that. I couldn't find it.
So to get it to find it, I got to power the thing off, unplug it, plug it back up, and then it's happy. I don't have to do anything special to the drive. Everything's there. Everything runs. But it likes to be a little bit of a bastard for me.
Yeah, that's such shit. I'm sorry about that, man.
I can still keep it running, so it's kind of like the mechanic whose car looks like it barely runs, but he can fix anything.
Anything but his car.
Well, the reason his car ain't fixed is because he's going, oh yeah, I just threw threw some spackle and some duct tape on it. It's good,
Yeah. Why aren't you recovering?
So, all right, cool. So then we've got some plans there for the facilities. No, I'm not going to bother about putting the wall up around the place on the map.
Yeah.
because that's really just more of a descriptive thing. There's not a need to add that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think, expanding a couple of buildings and adding in a few more accoutrements would be nice. And then the other thing that I thought would be nice, because I believe you guys, I know that Kenparka was talking about doing this, and setting up a training yard.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, and that was my thing about henchmen, is that I was thinking, it's not going to be hard for y'all to get henchmen because you're a mercenary camp, and now you're a name for yourself, so people are going to want to come and join your crew, because your fame is going to start to grow.
Yeah.
And that's something that he was looking to do. He wanted to be able to kind of create a training yard. You were talking about creating a magic school. So, I mean, I'd still make you pay for the henchmen, but, you get a ready supply of them with, running a mercenary camp. Now, one of the other things I was thinking about with the mercenary camp, and this is something I was thinking about because of how I ran a previous campaign where somebody else ran a mercenary crew.
Mm-hmm.
That, it exploded into something way too big.
Yeah.
But I kind of kept a small ledger in the background for all the jobs, all the extra jobs and stuff that were getting done that the primary party wasn't doing. But the mercenary camp, because it's a mercenary group, the mercenary company gets paid for these jobs. So there's kind of a coffer for your mercenary group that you could leave, come back, leave on a mission, come back 6 months later and find out your coffers are spilling over because the rest of the mercenaries have been out doing odd jobs and everything and done enough to, have you set with a hefty chunk of cash to work with.
Yeah, of course.
So that's something I'm wanting to do with you guys, if that's something that you would like for me to do. The big challenge there is to measure out how many men you've got. Because then, of course, exponentially, you got that many people, you got to feed them, you got to house them, you got to, give them a place to work on their gear. You probably need to hire a blacksmith to work the actual forge. Well, I'm not going to say you need to hire a blacksmith. We've got Beatrice. And I'm basically going to leave Beatrice just at the camp for doing that kind of work. Because, that just kind of makes sense. He already made the character. We may as well use her. What are you eating? You don't belong up there. No, get down. No, that does not mean I want to pet you. Get down. Oh, let go. Great. Cat turned into Velcro.
Oh, brother.
So those were some of the thoughts as well that I was looking at for the future of the game, the future of the campaign. And I mean, you're a fellow GM, so you understand where I'm coming from. But I want to get your thoughts on it. And really, I mean, I've only got you and Flaristic right now, so
yeah.
And I got a feeling Flaristic's going to agree with whatever you say needs to be built at the camp.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I've got a list somewhere of the various jobs at a castle.
Mm-hmm.
Or in a town, for example, and I could put that together, and there it is. There's the burp, and then just start putting together the list of hirelings and based on, the henchman book and
Right.
stuff.
Now,
So there's that.
Some of the other stuff that I'm looking at taking advantage of, and I'm thinking about taking advantage of it, of course, since there's only 2 players left currently, I'm thinking about doing maybe a bit of a side quest type thing that may involve either yours or Flaristic's characters' secret histories.
Yeah.
And kind of have a little bit of a side quest that deals with some of your character stuff. Kind of get a character story in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that was a thought. And besides, it's a pre-made story. The player made it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to fill it out and flesh it out and add in all kinds of extra NPCs. Rinvoq finds out that he has an evil twin brother that lives in False Cardis. Yeah, I mean, let's go with all the fantasy tropes.
You mean daytime soap tropes?
Right? Your twin was given up at birth because your mom couldn't afford them.
Yeah, I mean that's possible too.
Then you find out you've got demon blood in you, and then I mean, it's just it can go all kinds of weird ways. But I don't like doing that kind of stuff to players because it's like forcing a background on them. Oh yeah, by the way, your dad was a demon. What? No, I don't mean he was an asshole. I mean he was an actual demon. Wings, tail, horns.
I mean, that could be interesting.
I know you're okay with some of that type of stuff, but as a GM, you gotta make sure not to go extreme with it. You gotta make sure you don't go stupid with it.
Yeah.
I've seen so many times where I had a GM once that he loved adding in these surprise background things, these surprise pieces to your character. Well, eventually my character, he throws so many weird background pieces onto my character that I'm looking at his bloodline and I'm going, how did this even happen? He's part drow, part wood elf, part demon, part angel, part this, part that, and I'm just like, what? Hey, don't get me wrong, the character was fun to play. The GM told a good story, but it made the character such a mutt that it was hard to kind of wrap your head around his personality. Because, he kept on finding out new things about his heritage. And that just makes things complicated. Now, if I were to do alright, so, we find out that, Rinvoq has a demonic bloodline, and then later on, we find out, Flaristic's character has a celestial bloodline. And that can make for interesting party dichotomy because it doesn't really change your personality per se. Let's get rid of these guys. That was all used for examples earlier. That's Finley. That's you.
Mm-hmm.
That's Beatrice. All right, Beatrice doesn't belong in there. Beatrice belongs over here. And then Kenparka, well, we'll give him a home later. We'll leave him at the bar for now.
Yeah, leave him at, a little drunkard.
And Finley will be here hang out with you and Beatrice. There we go. So I mean, there's so many pieces to think about. And like I said, I want to do doing the coinages of the different realms.
Mm-hmm.
For me is cool, and yet can become stupid complicated.
Yeah, it can be. It can go sideways quick. So
I want to kind of be careful with it, but I also don't want it to be that there's a common currency throughout the entire world, because that just when you look at the world map, where is it?
Mm-hmm.
When we look at this world map, there is just too much going on for it to have a unified currency system throughout the world.
Yeah.
Why is that not coming up? Is the map completely blank for you?
Un momento, por favor. Yes, it is.
Huh.
It disappeared. Did you move the file?
No, because we're on Forge.
Yeah.
Weird. All right, well then I guess we'll go back to the mercenary camp.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting there staring at a gray screen. I guess I'll just have to re-upload the world map. But I've got so many areas that have had so many storylines and stuff that I like to make sure that sometimes news of things happening in other areas of the world, and it also kind of gives you a feel for the timeline that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got, even when you look at worlds like Forgotten Realms, you don't just have one adventuring party wandering around. There's hundreds of adventuring parties.
Quite possibly.
Now, granted, there are those that are successful, and there are those that are not. But the ones that are going to make the news, those are the ones that are successful.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause, I mean, you're not going to hear about some adventuring party from way up north that, went out to go take on, some super-powered Yeti and never came back. The news isn't going to make it all the way down here to Delphos about that, because it's not going to matter. Whereas hearing that a adventuring group overthrew the rulership of a country and has now placed themselves in the rulership seat, well, now that news would make it down here no matter where in the world it happened. Because that's big news, typically. But even that kind of big news, it's one of those things going, well, that country's way over, what does that matter to us? That's not going to affect us in one shape, way, or another. Now, the way that it could affect is, and I've changed up stuff with the Blades, which is the other mercenary group. But it used to be that the Blades had grown so big that they actually had small mercenary outposts strewn across all the countries. And so the Blades were the main mercenary company across the western half of the world. Which made them, sadly, it made them a superpower. It should have been one of those where several countries would have united and rose up against them, is what should have happened. Because they got too powerful. But that's also the problem. They got too powerful, so all these other countries, just the thought of trying to go up against the Blades, they kind of shit their britches thinking about it. When you got a country that hires a mercenary group to be their army, that's
bad business anyway.
Yeah, that's an issue. So, all right. So we've got those pieces in place. We talked about the henchmen. We talked about the money. We talked about the map. We covered that. My viewership's actually running pretty low right now. I've only got one person in chat right now. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, we're not really doing much. We're sitting here just jibber jabbering. But I think one of the goals would be to recruit some more players. Part of my thought was I want to wait and see how the two Robs work out in your game.
Yeah.
And if they seem solid enough, then I may extend the invite to them to join us on the Dungeon Fantasy game, if they're interested.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the very least, I can extend the invite to them. But I want to wait and see how it pans out with them playing with us in the other campaign first.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that Rob number one has no experience with GURPS other than the crash course that I gave him that lasted about 3 hours.
Neither did Flaristic.
Yeah. So I mean, he's up to speed. Now the real question is, does he show up next week?
Right. And that's
yeah.
That was part of what I was looking at.
And then Cal, he's been gaming as long as I have.
Okay, cool. So we got ourselves a.
He's old school gamer. He was there at GURPS first edition, like I was. We both played Car Wars when it came out in the plastic box, or in the plastic bag, then the plastic box and stuff.
Okay.
So we're both fans of Steve Jackson games. So that's a thing.
Okay.
And like I say, he's played GURPS. He's used Foundry and GCS and all that stuff.
Wow.
So he's up to speed.
Okay.
So we'll touch base with him a couple more times before Thursday, and he'll be there to play if he doesn't have any commitments. So we'll see.
Well, and that was my other thing is that I mean, I know it kind of sounds rude, but it's the whole. I want to see how their personality meshes with the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think so.
You got people that play a certain way, and you got other people that play different ways, and sometimes those play styles do not merge well together. So I mean, I try to watch out for that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's you're reaching into a hat of names and hoping for the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I do have high hopes for him, and I hope it works out great. I'm most optimistic about the second Rob, just because he's got the game experience. So what can you say, right?
Which is awesome. I mean that. With them having the game experience, that means that, in theory, they're going to come in ready to actually role play their character and enjoy the story. Whereas I mean, Flaristic's great. I'm enjoying him playing and everything, but you can tell he's still getting his feet wet trying to understand the role play, the character aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, and I think he, because he, second Rob, has been around long enough to appreciate the work that GMs put into this, especially GURPS GMs, because a lot of stuff. That's what really turned me off at first originally with GURPS is that I had to create everything.
Yep.
And now there's, then they can start popping out the splat books and everything else, and they're like, oh, this is great, this is good, and so things had to start spinning up, so now we're at GURPS 4th edition, and everything's at your fingertips, like, yes, I can play GURPS, not fucking have a brain freeze.
Even with the splat books, though, the splat books a lot of times for me hasn't been, oh, cool, I can just pull these monsters right out of here, and I'll be good to go. A lot of times for me, it's, okay, wait a minute, how did they build this? What did they?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
it's a lot of that, and there's a lot of, man, this one just doesn't quite fit in my game.
Right.
I've got to redo it, or I just have to make up my own damn monsters.
Exactly. Or you're like, okay, well, I like this part of it. That works nice. I like that, but now I need to. All this rest of this crap needs to go because it doesn't fit. But now I need to put something else in its place. Otherwise, the thing turned, went from a metal tiger down to being a poodle.
That's true. Yeah, but that's also the joy. Really, the best thing about GCS is it allows you to literally copy paste a lot of stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, I've got so many NPCs, and honestly, they're all just a bunch of stats with different names. But what makes them each one different is the notes, and the way they're supposed to be played. So,
out of curiosity, what did you think of the Draugr and the flaming skulls that I had?
Well, they were definitely tough. And honestly, I think, I mean, honestly, there is a fair challenge.
Well,
So,
they were intended to be, because, I mean, geez, the guards that were in the place were zero challenge to you guys. Well, especially with you making everybody invisible.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, and it's, again, that's just, I just,
Hey, it's
that's how I am. If you find yourself in a fair fight, you already lost.
yeah. I mean, y'all had a fantastic tactic, and then when y'all encountered the undead creatures, it was like, and the invisibility's not working. Shit.
Well,
except for Oshtur, who was wearing the amulet, which
is visible to undead people.
Right.
That's why, if I'm going to run a second character, I am definitely running a cleric for the party. Just going to have to.
Well, and first he may not be playing a cleric; he's playing a holy warrior, but he's starting to get a feel for the fact that he has special things to use against the undead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have, like, jack and shit for necromancy spells, so that's not what I do.
Right.
It's a cleric's job. Now, if I had built a necromancer, everybody like, oh, he's creepy, But at the same time, if one of our guys, takes a hit and kisses the mat, then I just get him right back up and put him back in a fight.
So. Let me pull up the map for you. I want to show you something.
Right.
Since you're not going to be going back there anyways, and chat will be able to see it as well.
Okay.
That fight against the Draugr was actually going to get much worse. All right, so y'all had just made it into this main little entrance here. This is as far as y'all had made it in.
Yep.
If y'all come deeper in, you can see that it got all greenish and everything. There was poison. I had drogs all over the place and horde skulls. I love the fact that horde skulls blended into the background.
Yeah, that was kind of a pain in the ass.
But you got these poison vats here. This water,
like some toxic vats to fall into.
Right. But across the way, these three drogs are all equipped with longbows. So they were going to be shooting into the combat here, potentially hitting you guys, and their stat block. Oh, this guy doesn't have his bow. What the hell?
That's because I took it away from him.
There it is. The bow is doing 2 dice plus 2 impaling.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
And they had a 15 skill. You can see here their skills that they had in their melee and their range. I tried building them pretty solid. You know, I wanted them to be a challenge, but it was a challenge with the intention of, they got 27 hit points, they got 6 DR, but it was also with the anticipation of Oshtur.
Yeah. The thing is we honestly should have taken a tactical pause way before we opened this door, and people.
Yep.
Like, oh, there's bad guys back there. Like, yeah, I know.
Right.
Like, Hulk is like, but bad guy.
Hey, Frostbite, welcome back.
So the biggest thing was, of course, is that the team does not have tactical patience. I guarantee you, we could have done so much better with just some tactical patience.
Yeah,
Well,
and I tried.
Like,
I tried drawing and writing, and I drew a little arrow that I knew you guys couldn't see, but I knew chat could see. And it basically read, "Death is here."
Yeah.
But then you had the other side of it. This was going to be the way out, and that's where you're going to find the real Farscaris stuff. I still think that the map worked out nicely. I really liked I liked the lava stuff that we had going. It made the map a little bit more unique. It didn't feel so. You got too many times where you've got a tabletop map that's just kind of almost cookie cutter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that honestly, Dungeon Alchemist is great for fantasy, but I sure wish they had some stuff, from modern or post-apocalyptic. I really do, because I would use it so much more. But everybody's like, "Oh, we're Dungeons and Dragons. Fuck that."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got bored with Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I did too. I mean, and on top of that, with all the iterations and stuff, now I don't even know what it looks like anymore. I mean, my daughter runs a good game, great, but I just don't play it because of it got nerfed. But now we're going on a soapbox, so
right.
But anyhow, but the problem is there's not a lot of support out there for postmodern, modern sci-fi, and all that crap.
No, I mean there's stuff out there for sci-fi. I've got a bunch of sci-fi stuff,
I do too.
but there's nothing for post-apocalyptic, and there's nothing for modern.
Oh yeah, and I'd say the one guy that I know that publishes post-apocalyptic stuff, he's on Drive Through RPG is Amatsu, Amatsu. And I have a bunch of his stuff too. Yeah, so it looks good, and we did a good job with it. The only problem is he never published it. He never did. Well, he doesn't publish his scale of his map. So how many feet or meters per number of pixels it is. So and there, I spend a good 20 minutes just figuring out what the scale should be, and then after that I can plug it into Foundry.
Right.
And thank God he's at least doing gridless maps, because I don't need a grid. I have a grid. It's in Foundry.
Oh, and since I was showing you the stuff, here's the here's the stats on the Horde skull. The big problem it had was that it had a size modifier of -5.
Yeah, that makes it a little tough to hit.
No DR. Well, I had 2, because all it is a skull. So it's got 2 DR for the skull. And it literally only had 1 attack.
Oh, I know. It had the psychic attack, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had a mentalist, that thing would have been fucked, so.
But
we don't.
And that was the thing, is that it was set up to where there's not even a die roll for the amount of damage it does, because it literally just does 1.
It's a cosmic attack, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, in my notes in here, it did specify non-sentient, can't communicate or negotiate.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, it's just, it's a thing that needs to be smashed.
But then it also had the little note here, for people that actually, had like hidden lore, undead, whatnot. That rumors persist of intelligent lich skulls with a dex of 10 or higher, IQ 10 or higher, will and perception at 12 or higher, dozens or even hundreds of FP, magery of 3+, and many spells that enable it to levitate, turn invisible, etc. Either way, it's truly evil.
Yeah. You got that out of the in Fantasies Monsters book, I believe.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked it up, because, I was like, that looks interesting. But I certainly wasn't using my meta.
So, no, not at all. But, I wanted to make sure that I had something that had some flavor, something that has something interesting for y'all to encounter. Of course, then you assholes just went, yep, we're just going to close this up.
Well, the intent was to come back later after we've rested.
True.
But then we got sidetracked by the King's letter and everybody else. I'm like, damn, really?
Well,
fucking politics.
Well, that's what King's letter. We got sidetracked by it being Oshtur's last game session, so it was like, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and give him a good closure.
Yeah.
And so, I still leave this open for you guys to come back to if you want. But is it necessary? Probably not.
No. I think the risk outweighs the benefit. So.
Yeah. So I think that maybe our next session or two is going to be building up the camp, hiring some people to come and do the jobs, and I don't think we need to role play that.
No.
So that stuff we'll be able to take care of off screen, and then pick up the next leg of the journey. So
Well, we still have the False Guardus Blood Mage threat to deal with.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I'm sure that's going to be the next thing. I did do a write-up, a little bit of a write-up in Scabbard for the Mercenary group. So that's been done.
Okay. Let's see. Come over here.
It's short, but it's there.
Is that the King's Ravens? No. King's Ravens. All right. Yep. Long range reconnaissance group.
Yep.
So, chat, you can see here what we've got that we're looking at. And it shows the members of the group. So, right now it's got 5 members. Rinvoq, Kenparka, Finley, Oshtur, and Beatrice. Rinvoq currently being the leader of the group.
De facto.
So, but, like I said, and, just in case anybody watches this after the fact, we are looking for some additional players to come and join us. We'd really like to have some additional players come join us.
Frostbite's here. I mean, all you gotta do is put together a character, man.
You don't even have to install anything.
No, it's yeah. You don't have to, but you can. But which, by the way, the next version of the GURPS gaming aid, actually ties in GCS to it, like officially, and you can create characters on it.
Oh, really? Wow,
yes, really, yeah.
That's
I've actually I downloaded their beta.
Yep.
And have looked at it, and it is pretty cool so far. Still got a lot of work to go, but it's pretty cool. So, yeah, the interface is a little more slick and cleaned up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming out. But yeah, yeah.
Now that's funny.
That's funny.
So, when I'm watching the stream health over on my so normally the error that I get, or the message I get that gives me a heads up, it says you're currently streaming at a bit rate lower than our recommended bit rate. We recommend you roll it. stream at a bit rate of 4,500 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got everything jacked up now because I can, and now it's gone the opposite direction. Going, hey, you're streaming at 11,000 with an 11,000 bit rate. We'd appreciate it if you dropped that down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, so it happens. You know, you get what you ask for. Oh, too low? No problem, crank.
So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, I think I can't think of anything else we need to cover.
Your modules.
Modules, yes.
Yeah, your modules.
All right. Yeah, so this will be a fun thing to watch, chat.
Okay.
All right. So my current modules, I've got combat ready. The dice so nice, which are nice. I like to have dice so nice. I got the drag ruler, GURPS instant defaults, of course. I did the hex token size support because that was recommended by the nose.
Yeah, unless that is if you're using hexes. Now, if you're going with no hexes,
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
still haven't built a map quite that. Wait, did I?
I mean, all you have to do is just build it without
Just take the grid
without a
off.
grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you already have walls in it, it's gonna move. The
Okay.
walls are you'll have to move fix the walls. But if you start out without them, then that's another thing. So anyway, I posted in the chat, the Discord chat, what I'm running right now, my active modules.
All right. Auto rotate.
Yeah, so like when you move your character and they're facing one way, it'll turn and it'll face the direction of movement.
All right. Let's exit out of here. Modules.
Yeah. I mean, these are the ones I'm running, but it's up to you.
Yeah, like I don't think I need better roofs.
No, not unless you're using them. I sometimes try to use them, but because I have maps that are both outdoor, indoor. But I don't know. I get mixed results out of it. So
What's the one that does the blood splat? Monks blood splats. That's what I want.
yep, Monk's blood splats. Yep. Yeah, you probably also should get Monk's active tile triggers to create traps.
All right. That one I've already got installed.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have it active.
Yeah. See, the Monk's combat marker, pretty useful.
All right.
Monk's player settings, what that does is you can make sure that the player settings, when they are logged into the game, are synced to your settings.
Right.
So there's that.
Let's see. Player settings.
So if you're not using better roofs, then you won't need levels.
Well, I already have levels, but then I wound up never using it.
Yeah, see, I'm probably going to drop that too, because I was trying to put together a junkyard with, car stacks and stuff, and it was, the tokens were walking under the cars. Like, what the fuck?
Now, see, I've already got something that puts a symbol around your token when you're combating, so we don't need to worry about the combat marker.
No.
Combat details.
Yeah, that just adds a little more detail to what's going on in your combat tracker.
Including turn notification. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes along with this is the same thing, similar to what I've already got installed.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Monk is actually one of the developers that is working on Forge.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that sold me on it too. It's like, oh, he knows the code kind of well. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And of course, all of his stuff kind of works well together too, because he wrote it.
Right.
So of course we got pop out. Patrol is useful to an extent, but Like
Yeah.
when y'all saw the robots going back and forth, yeah, it's useful there, but it takes some tweaking, and you may. I know for I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty much guessing you probably don't have the time or patience to set up the patrols. So
No, but I am going to add in Scabbard Connect.
yeah, very useful because you can import Scabbard stuff into your journal.
Hey, Jasmine. All right, let's.
Looking for a player, you should play.
Mm-mm.
Also, you should get the token action HUD.
I think I already got
core,
that one.
Core and classic. No, I don't think you do. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. No, you don't. Because what that does, it puts up those little buttons at the upper left of your map.
Yeah, I got
Screen.
I got the token action HUD core.
Do you not have it activated?
No, because remember I had to deactivate a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, hold on. Let's do this. Let's come back over here to my game. Launch this. Let's take a look at what all I actually have installed because there's so much stuff that's not activated. Actually, you know what? No, I need to do it the other way. Let's let me get over to games configuration. All right, you're gonna wind up getting kicked out of the game for a second.
That's okay. I was looking at your module list.
All right, hold on. I want to stop the game. Stop server.
Yeah, I went ahead and logged out.
And then start back up. Well, because I added in a couple of modules, so may as well, restart the thing so that I can actually enable them, like the blood splatter. All right, we'll give that a second. I'm gonna go grab a brew. And then I need just a moment to go and double check on all the kids.
Let's see.
Oh, I should have just turned you back into assistant game master. That way,
full on game master.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Mic off. Mic on.
Sorry, that took me an extra second because I couldn't find the boy.
Mm-mm.
And apparently he's sleeping in his oldest sister's bed tonight.
Oh, well. Guess it's per inch.
All right. Now let's take a look at the modules that I currently have. All right, take a look at your list here. Don't have the advanced drawing tools installed.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's only if you need it.
Yeah, I turned off all the Bailey Wiki stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't worry about that. Combat Ready is what I'm using for combat, which is working just fine. Compendium folders. Alright, we'll turn that on. Dice So Nice. Yep. Drag Ruler. Foundry VTT Content Parser. That's not the same I have. What does that do?
Sometimes you can do if you have a comma delimited list and you want to create a roll table out of it, then you can kind of like just copy paste it in there, and then you can create a roll table out of it.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of handy. You know, a lot of my roll tables that I have are come from that. In fact, I've got a crap ton of roll tables I could probably share with you too. Well, they're actually in the GURPS repository, which you have access to. Okay.
Right, you're not running with any of the Moulinet stuff.
Nah, I gave up on the animations and stuff, so.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's okay, but it's not, you know. Everybody's having to imagine. If you want to play a video game, let's play a video game, you know? So I was like, okay, this is really not that necessary. And besides, some of my animations are messing up Tiny's machine anyway, so.
Right. Well, I think that was part of the reason I had killed so much of my, yeah. Okay. All right. That's got all the ones that I have installed, that you have installed, activated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. Alright, there we go. That's got some things added in. That looks more like what I was expecting. So you should be able to rejoin now.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do it.
That way you can take a look and see.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we definitely have the token action HUD set up. In fact, if you select my character, you can see it too, and it'll pop up underneath your map selection there.
Yep.
So, and that works really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's got pieces to it that work really nice, and it's got pieces that work a little funky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something else is missing though, and fuck, what was that? I know Nose has mentioned it before too that I could use. Huh. Because like when you mouse over the character, you should get that little thing that pops over to the right that tells you the health and everything. Shit, it's on the GURPS VTT recommended installs.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So
weird.
there's that.
I'm not getting the. Let's look at this from a different spot. Let's go to Misery Mines real quick.
Okay. Zooming in. Yeah, you should be able to mouse over it, and
I get the hit point bars, but I'm not getting. Oh, there it is. Right click. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Well, I think there's also a script you need to plug into your GURPS settings too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a short little script. Yeah, it's on the GURPS gaming aid PDF thing. There's a link for it. But I do believe. Let me double check here. I think I may actually have it too. Somewheres.
Yeah, like I've got so many things installed that are useless now. I really need to uninstall them just so they're not in my list.
Yeah, that's something I have to do too. I'm going to go through and pull the ones that I'm not using off of Forge and be done with it.
So I've got a total of 75 modules installed, but I'm only using 30 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're saying, since we're not using this map anymore, I want to see how badly this would have screwed things. Go ahead and configure. Yep. I come in here and I tell it gridless.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at my walls. Actually, it didn't mess up my walls.
Very good.
Yeah, no, my walls are all still
moved.
Perfectly in place.
Very cool. Well, there you go.
Oh, wait.
What?
I think I manually did these walls. These weren't walls that I imported. I think this is all stuff that I did myself.
Well, see, the walls that I've had screw up were built on Foundry or Forge.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't import anything. I have yet to import anything that's quote-unquote Foundry ready.
Oh, no. So, when I do using Dungeon Alchemist, Dungeon Alchemist will make it Foundry ready. We'll do all the walls, windows, doors, everything, which has been awesome for me. So I can design the map however I want it to look, make sure I've got the details how I like it, and then I can go, all right, import, and you got to tell it. Well, you're going to tell it to export it, and it creates two separate files. It creates a JavaScript, and then it creates the map. The thing that it tells you have to do, though, is that you have to you got to install the JavaScript first. You got to import that first into the scene, and then the background image. Why in the world that makes a difference? I don't know. I mean, you and I are both, from the tech world, and that makes no logical sense as to why that would
Well, of course.
affect anything.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're going, it's a picture.
Yeah. Have you looked at your compendium tab yet? It's so much cleaner.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Oh, things are so nice and clean.
There we go. Yeah, I missed having that because I mean I used to run that particular.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's even better is that I can see from the previous combat. There's a blood splatter. Yeah.
Oh.
There's a blood splatter right there.
Yeah, so it is working good. Retroactively, even.
Yeah, I found it interesting they work retroactively. Huh. Well, only for that combat. Everything else just has skulls on it. But,
Very good.
using your bar up on top.
Yep, tried it, see how it worked.
Yeah, it does make things easier. I feel bad for characters like yours. Because, like, you know, you got 5 tabs of spells on here.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think I've got, almost 90 spells.
You know, although one of the things I do really like is you go to the spells, you go down to continual light, and it actually has off, daylight, torchlight, and moonlight. You can pick which light you want to do with your continual light.
Yeah, because I've got those little things with the
okay,
macros on in the notes.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I can cast daylight, and it should have daylight, but obviously that didn't work.
I think it did, but there's so much light already on this map.
It could be it too.
That you get, hey Tracy.
Hello, here you are.
But you got 11 days of daylight.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty awesome, huh? Yeah, nothing like a flashlight that you can't turn off.
Right?
Actually, you know what I'm doing? I'm just going to make a flashlight. I'm going to use a scroll tube that, you know, you keep a cap on the end.
Yep.
And something, and then just, you know, affix anything on the inside of it. And then, you know.
Way back in the day, I had done a similar thing in D&D. I had taken a stick and I'd cut a wedge out of the end of the stick, and I had taken a coin and cast continual light on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wedged the coin into that little groove that I made on the stick. And then I'd gotten some thick leaves and wrapped it around the end of the stick and tied them down. And then took one more leaf to put a flap over it.
Yeah, I guess the same. You could do that with like a scroll tube or a map case or anything.
Right.
You know, I wonder if I could, like, do a continual light on something, you know, small, like I said, a coin, and tape it to the eyepiece of my telescope and turn it into a searchlight. That would be awesome.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, it's just the reverse of, you know, because
no,
the telescope is designed to gather light, right? So the more light that comes in it, of course, you know, the better you can see.
Right.
I would say that the converse of that, if you reverse the flow of light, so to speak, then it would create a you know, searchlight.
Yes and no. The problem is going to be the glass, because the curvature of the glass affects the way the light passes through it.
Huh.
So you'd have to take the lens at the end of your telescope and flip it around.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. But either way.
I mean, so technically, yes, it is possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
I'm not going to tear up a good telescope to do it.
Say, those are not cheap.
No, they are not. And that was one of the things, is like, you know, what I was going to be able to do is, like, you know, I was thinking about when it came to reconnaissance, I could do the shape shift into an owl, fly up to a high perch, shapeshift back into myself, and then look around with my telescope and gather intel, and then shapeshift and come back to wherever I needed to be.
Right. Well, like,
That was one of the things I thought about with that spell.
You know, from previous games that you ran when you were on the Pathfinder game, I looked at how you handled treasure and that kind of stuff, and I took some keys from how you were doing that and started implementing it into my own game. Because sometimes, the whole, the loot goblins like Eric, you end up going, they didn't have shit. Because you're tired of spending 3 hours of a session to sort through all the loot.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, because when it came to like little minor guys like that, I mean, they might have had a couple coins amongst them,
Right.
These little fuckers got, shit for equipment, and that's why they're able to be, that's why you smash them so easily. But, I'm not gonna. I am literally. That was one of the things that bugged me most. Is I literally am not going to let you let someone. We've killed 30 goblins today, and each one of them had a hand axe.
Right.
What the fuck are we going to do with 30 hand axes? Because here's the thing.
Well,
and here's the thing.
But you go from what Eric said. We're going to sell them.
Here's the thing.
Who's going to buy them?
Okay. Well, who's going to buy them? And worse yet, the more supply that there is in a market of something,
the value drops.
The value drops. Exactly. So, I mean, that's why sometimes when they did sell stuff, I'll say, well, you've got 30 or 40 of these things, so they're going to buy them at bulk prices.
Right. Because they're
going to resell.
Well, because they have to be able to make a profit. And,
I mean, he's making a profit no matter what,
Right.
Found equipment, yeah, of course. The only inconvenience was, lugging it, from the wherever, and then cleaning, hosing it off.
So, but I tried to make sure that I started rewarding you guys with some better loot.
Well, that's appreciated.
Because I know in previous games, because you've been playing with me now for a few years, and
2017.
I think so.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah. Yeah. Been 5 years. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. And I've been stingy with loot. So yeah, I'm trying to be a bit more giving, not ridiculous, but I'm trying to think about the scene.
Well, yeah. See, that was one of the things that always concerned me too. If you're going to have a captain, and he's carting around this artifact, okay, he better be damn well important, and maybe have a couple other things on him, to include maybe some sort of intelligence.
Right?
Because again, that's kind of how I'm playing. Rinvoq in a way. He's more. He's basically a leader of a special operations group in our team. So they're that's why the intelligence gathering and all these other little things as part as the the King's Ravens go, because it's asymmetric warfare.
Yes,
and that is something that our group specializes in.
Yeah, well, asymmetric and to some degree guerrilla, because especially when you use the invisibility. If that's not guerrilla warfare, I don't know what is.
Well, that's just how do you? That's just plain that's warfare with magic. Okay, let's just face it. It's still asymmetric. Because guerrilla warfare encompasses a strategy of you hit the enemy when they least expect it in the most weakest spot, and then fade away so you can't be attacked again.
Now
we're not doing that. We're doing other things.
On the flip side, going back to the enchantment thing, I actually wanted to make enchantments available to you. So, because one of the keys I took from you when we were doing the pirate game, we had enchanters available that could enchant our equipment and could enchant it quickly.
And that was one of, again, that's something I'd like to revisit,
But we had to pay a premium to get it done.
Yeah.
But that's fine. If we're making that kind of money, then, because I know I got all kinds of stuff enchanted, and it worked out awesome. Whereas, playing in the Mutants game, right now I'm still excited the fact that I've got a piece of metal that's got 160 DR. I mean, the thing weighs. Well, it doesn't weigh a lot. It's only 10 pounds, but still.
Yeah, that's about the same as a regular old shield. So I mean, yeah, it's very durable as a shield.
Oh, I was looking at a way to be able to tie some leather straps to it. I was going to wear it as a breastplate.
No, you could do that too. You could make it into, body armor. You could do that too. Of course, you need to be able to, machine it to do
right.
That.
Exactly.
The equipment that can be used to machine Duralloy.
But that's what I've liked about that game is the fact that I've been going in, and because the character's a scavenger and he knows how to piecemeal things.
Yeah.
And I haven't started taking advantage of him actually piecemealing all this stuff that he's found, all these pieces that he's got. Of going, doing the, I mean, I realize I'm not going to be able to do this, but, doing the Rocket Raccoon thing of finding, firework, tube of Dura alloy, and a roll of duct tape, and, turn it into a cannon.
Yeah, cosmic potato gun. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I know I'm not going to be able to do that, but there's lots of other stuff that I know that I can do that's smaller. But the problem is that it takes a lot of talking, and so, one of the efforts I've been putting into on your game is trying to talk less.
Well, yeah, that's hard to do when you got players that don't talk much.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to pass the spotlight to everyone else too, just like any GM should try to do. But here's the thing. One of the things that I learned to do to make sure your players can't buy everything that they see is you make them spend their money.
Yeah.
That's what the enchanters. That was the game mechanism. Is that you guys are winding up with 5,000-10,000 gold pieces and stuff. Yeah, okay, you got a bag of holding. You can carry it around in there, and it's the bank of my own. But it makes more sense to keep you guys a little poor, monetary wise.
Yep.
Because there's no incentive to take on a job to do for money.
Right. Because you're saying, shit, I can retire on this.
Well, literally, yeah. I mean, if you gave your typical person in a medieval world even 500 gold pieces, they would be set for life.
Absolutely.
That's life. They say life-changing money. That's what that is. So, I have to keep that, in mind.
So
when I was working that world, just like with the loot that you are going to wind up getting over in the mutant game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. If you find 12 tech level 9 uniforms or whatever, okay, that's great. But
right,
you've got to move that shit.
Well, that was the thing I was trying to bring up to the group because everybody's going, okay, cool, we got everything, we can move it. And I'm saying, move it how?
Yeah, exactly. How are we going to move it?
I mean, fine, I can move it over to the elevator with the big ass robot.
Mm-hmm.
But once we get upstairs, then what?
Then what? Yeah. Yeah. And that's how the encounter is designed.
So I gotta leave enough space on the elevator for the robot to fit on it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can use it to move whatever we managed to get up there. And then, that's a lot of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then that little dinky boat, it's only going to carry so much weight.
Yeah, if you all decide to cross the lake again.
Frostbite said he wondered about the logistics of looting that warehouse.
Yeah. Everybody was scratching their head. It's the dog that caught the car.
But the thing is, the truck's on the other side of the lake.
Yep, sure is. Without a motor.
Well, Frostbite, you don't have to be a spectator.
That's true.
You are welcome to join us. You too, Tracy.
It's like they're having fun playing the game there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well, because the points on my chat is, the points are beers, and so they have fun seeing how many beers they've got. So when you've got 430,000 beers, that's a lot of beer.
It is a lot of fucking beer. Yeah. Okay, so
I understand, Frostbite. And Frostbite, you wouldn't need a PC for it. I mean, to connect to Foundry, you can do it on a tablet.
yeah, he's saying he doesn't think he can commit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Everybody's afraid of commitment. Me,
Yeah.
I like commitment. In fact, I should probably be committed.
So
yeah.
But no, one of the things I did want to make available for you guys was basically an enchanter. I don't think they'll be based out of the mercenary encampment, because that, for me, doesn't make logical sense. I think I'd rather have them based out of, well, I know I've got one in the capital. That's a given. I think... Yeah. So your two major spaces to be able to get enchantments done would be Blackly Hold and then Nolanor. Nolanor is going to be really expensive, though, because all of their enchanting efforts and everything are going towards protecting against Falscardus.
Of course.
Whereas...
It's like Spellbound Spire.
Right. Whereas Blackly Hold, it's far enough away to where you could probably get some decent... Oh, I understand, Frostbite. Well, if the situation ever changes, you got to open invitation.
Yeah.
But Blackly Hold with the capital there, that's going to be a good spot. And then I had thought about putting a kind of a smaller enchanter in Carterin.
Okay, that's pretty good crossroads, yeah.
But Carterin does more enchantments that are... I don't want to call it mundane, but you know what I mean by mundane enchantments. The guy that puts an enchantment on the plow that lets it dig through the ground a little bit better for the farmers. The guy that makes the spoon of stirring for the housewives. That kind of stuff.
Non-stick rolling pin. That's what she needs.
Right?
Because I hate it when the dough sticks to the pin.
But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the capability to be able to do enchantments on equipment. And so that's kind of what I was looking at. I was thinking back on my other ideas that I had for the enchantment thing, because I did want to make sure that was available.
Yeah.
And then rather than you having to spend the points on your character to buy the spells and everything you have to do to be able to do item enchantment.
Well, I have some enchantment stuff.
True.
Because it leads down. Part of that is the path to doing wishes and shit.
Right, and I get that. But this guy would probably have a crew of younger mages available to where, he can do the quick and dirty with a group, and, you drop off your piece of equipment in the morning, you come back and pick it up in the afternoon.
Yeah. True. Here's spells. Let's see. Did it make the list? There we are. Okay, there it is. That's the list.
Whereas, like you said, even doing your math, say you have yourself 5 mages, and mages aren't exactly easy to come by to begin with.
Well, looking at like the slow and sure, I mean, they don't even have to be skilled. Honestly, the people, just participating in the ceremony provides 1 energy point.
Don't they have to have a level of magery, even magery 0?
Age was that? That was 18, I think.
I'd expect them to need to have at least magery 0 in order to provide the magical energy.
Oh, I saw it.
And Grand, you're also talking about doing rituals, ritual enchantments. So
yeah, ceremonial magic is what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blah blah blah.
Ceremonial magic, I think only.
Yeah, they actually have to be able to know the spell at least at 15 or better.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
I think that's what it says. Ceremonial. Page 12. Let's go to page 12.
Everybody in the group has to do it at 15 or better?
Well, that's
asking asking a bit much.
Here it is. Okay. Right here on page 12 of the magic book, there's a big box with the ceremonial magic. Says, one of the entries in the italics, each unskilled spectator who supports the casting by chanting, holding candles, etc., 1 point to a maximum of 100 points from all spectators. It is there.
Okay.
So
it doesn't.
Yeah, I can get 1 guy, or 5 guys. Here, hold these candles. And you want me to do this, right? Everybody's like, yeah. You paid me gold, I support it.
Okay.
So that's what I was saying. It's like, using this, and we, if they get a gold coin each day, to support this for 100 days, that's 500 points, or 400 points.
Right.
Of
but
energy.
But it's also 500 gold.
Well, 400 gold. Because I would have contributed 100 points myself for a total of 500.
Okay.
For the the deflect enchantment.
And then isn't there a cost incurred in the enchantment itself?
See,
I mean,
plus 2 is 500.
Yeah.
But actually, monetary cost to enchant something, just the cost of the equipment.
Okay.
So, and that was one of the things that I went ahead and did was purchase a high quality cloak.
I'm sorry, Frostbite's comment.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Cousin. He's like cousin it. So for that was one of the things. And that's one of the ones I wanted to do. So just for the cloak, I wanted to add a DB, a defense bonus to it.
Yeah, so
2.
So it still leaves me with the whole, Kadarin and even Blackley Hold is close enough to you guys to really, you could just travel to go get stuff enchanted.
Yeah.
Unless you're just feeling the itch to enchant the stuff yourself.
Well, if I can get it done, at a certain cost, then that'd be awesome. Because that's all I really need. I mean, if I don't have to spend the money or spend the points on specific enchantments, then great. I'd rather not. I'd rather focus them on things that are more useful for me as a character, and then contract out all the enchantment stuff that for equipment.
220 miles. So it's 2 weeks there and back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a week to Blackley Hold and it's a week back home.
Okay.
So I mean, 2 weeks to travel to go get stuff enchanted, and a week to come back home. That's easy enough.
That's
and
will work.
No. 1 week, 1 week, one direction.
Yeah, and however long it takes to actually do the enchantment if I'm going to wait.
Oh, like I said, I'll have it set up to where you order the enchantment unless you're ordering some kind of stupid powerful enchantment that will take a little while.
Yeah. Well, not really. That's the thing.
Then I mean, like you're asking for a +1 deflection bonus to your cloak.
Well, +2 actually.
Okay. Well, I mean, they'd still be able to do that in a day.
Yeah, because that's like I said, it just costs that's 500 energy for that. And then there was another one I was going to do, and I forget what the fuck it was for.
Now, part of the reason they're able to do that is because again, taking advantage of some of the stuff that existed in the books in 3rd edition. There was all kinds of different magical equipment that could cut down the time that it took for enchantment. And so I kind of have that tower kind of set up with some of that equipment and stuff to do that. But still, it requires a crew to run the stuff.
Yeah, and then I was going to add the defending weapon enchantment to the staff, so that gives me the +1 to parry.
Okay, yeah.
So that's 500. If I spend the money, or spend the time for the +2, it's 1,000. I think that's a good start for right now. It's +1 now.
Yeah, I mean, and that gives a huge bonus because anything that ups your defensive numbers, you and I both know that's just massive.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to do the cloak at least.
So, well, I mean, and the cloak adds to your parry.
Well, that was kind of the whole point of it, was to, kind of layer that shit.
So, and I mean, and it'll stack, so.
Alright, well, then let me make those adjustments on the character sheet real quick here. Yeah, it's a lot of scrolling. When you got like 100-something spells, that's a long character sheet.
Yeah.
Alright, Staff of Power. Features, there we go.
All right, Jasmine, you have a good night. So, yeah, like I said, we got a lot going on there. We already know Jousal. You want to get yourself good base equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to do. I mean, like, I'm getting, got a new wardrobe, so a bunch of stuff like that for summer wear. I'm probably going to spend. In fact, I am going to spend money that on personal clothing that reflects status 1.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't have status 1, obviously, because I didn't put the points into it, but, you know.
Yeah, technically. Yeah, see that's one of those other things that I've thought about awards to you guys that is basically the equivalent of free character points, but awarding things like status. I mean, I technically, I awarded status to Oshtur.
Yeah, true.
He's a governor. He'd actually have a status of 2.
So that's up to date. What is that hooded cloak? Here we go.
But I think we've covered everything we can tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so the hooded cloak has got that on there. So that makes the party with the staff.
Yeah, I think we've got a plan now, and yeah, I'm gonna do the enchanters available in Carterin and Blackley Hold.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
Boy, I guess.
Tracy's got 1,000,000 beers.
Well, we're gonna get plowed.
Yeah.
Alright, so, okay, let me go down here. Alright, so if I don't need to get deflect as a spell, I can delete that one.
Drunkest chat ever.
Yeah, indeed. That gives me another point to spend. So
All of a sudden, everybody's chat's going to look like they had a cat walk across the keyboard.
Plus find weakness. I know there's a reason I needed this for.
Frostbite's getting close to 2,000,000 beers.
But oh, that's so crazy. Okay. Magic spell charts. These things have been my friend.
Oh, I bet.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair enough, Frostbite. Pick says he needs to be more drunk. Pix, you've got almost 500,000 beers.
I think 20 is enough.
So, real quick question for chat, though. For those of you that have been around for the chat and everything, what y'all gotten to listen to, this is a lot of background work. There's a lot of stuff that gets done. This is the kind of work that gets done by GMs to kind of set up and prepare for what's going to be the next adventure, what's going to be the next piece. Was this interesting? Was this a thing that, enlightened y'all on some of the stuff? It still doesn't show the amount of time we put into making our maps and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, tonight was pretty much all GM stuff.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Teleport.
So I was hoping that'd be interesting enough that, that'd keep people's attention, just hearing us talk about, what we're trying to build, what we're trying to do, what kind of work has to go into it to think about it and to put it together. Oh, That's what I'm going to do.
What's that?
I know where I'm going to send y'all.
To the moon! Oh, shit. What did I do with it?
The Kyrion Wilderness.
Yeah, that's possibly a really great idea. Not. The way I envisioned it, it was like a very dangerous place.
That's what I'm envisioning too.
Okay.
Well, cause I'm picturing terrain issues, and you know, I'm picturing things like you know, let's call it inventive stuff that we come up with. You know, so let's say, okay, in the Kyrian Wilderness, one of the threats in the Kyrian Wilderness is, you know, there aren't any paths, but there's a thing that's referred to as ironwood vines, and these vines have thorns on them. That's why it's called ironwood, because it could actually damage your leg armor trying to walk through it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Or you have to have a special tool to be able to cut through it. Otherwise, you dull your weapons trying to cut through the stuff. You know, it's there's so many thoughts that you can throw into it as to the needs and whatnot. And a lot of times, these kind of missions, the group shows up feeling prepared, and they find that they're unprepared because of these things that they didn't know about. And because they didn't know about it, you know, sometimes they can get mad at the GM. They're going, I should have known about that. Going, but nobody knew about this stuff. This is part of the problem. You know, and so, you know, those are the things that you can throw in at a party. Gold Savannah, I think, is an interesting place too. But, I mean, Katarin Plain, this area here, you may not see towns and roads all through here, you know, because all the thing you have on the map here is the major roads.
Yep.
There's going to be all kinds of little tiny side roads, and Katarin Plain, you can see, is actually fairly fertile. So this area is going to be almost all farms. It's going to be covered in farms. Whereas the Savannah and down here in the Pulpero Expanse, this area more or less stays empty in anticipation of False Guardus. But because of the battles that have happened before in the past, you know, call it magical radiation. It's caused different kinds of anomalies to happen. So you got weird creatures throughout the Pulpero Expanse. What kind of crops are in the mutant zombie bunnies? Yes, we will make sure to have mutant zombie bunnies, and they're gonna have big nasty teeth. Okay, so Pix, so you want to know what kind of crops Delphos grows? Is that what you're asking?
Good question, actually.
So Delphos is mostly self-sufficient because of its border with False Guardus. This area here with the Katarin Plain, though, this is your major farming area, and you have multiple different types of crops, and you have crop rotation.
Yeah, the further south you go, the warmer the climate is. So you'll see things that you might see, let's say, in Georgia or in Texas.
Right.
Those type of crops, you know, cotton, corn.
Now, whereas the farms that belong to Jalsal and Edgewood, it's more like orchards.
Yep.
Yeah. Lashney would have orchards if it hadn't lost all of its manpower.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, so orchards also include things like walnut trees, pecan trees, nuts and stuff that you might find in those kind of old growth forests.
Yep.
Pecan trees are found more commonly closer to water sources because they do tend to take a lot of water, and they do have deep roots too, so you could even be at a little bit of elevation in the pecan tree and root for that.
But as far as Caterin Plain, what you're going to find there, you're going to find lots of grains.
Grazeland too.
Grains are a big thing. Your grazing land is actually more out towards the Golden Savannah.
Yep, and it's also in the Pulpera Expanse.
The Pulpera Expanse, like I said, it's dangerous because you got weird creatures down there from magical, quote-unquote, magical radiation from all the combat and everything that's happened over there over the centuries.
Yeah. But still, just like at Chernobyl, there are things that are thriving.
Right. Peking pecans.
Pecans?
But no, you got your now the stuff that you won't have growing in this kind of a region because of the zone. You would not find things like broccoli or cauliflower because they require a bit colder climate to grow properly. I learned that one the hard way. I tried growing cauliflower here in the south. Yeah, I planted it, and then summer hit, and all the plants turned brown. I mean, literally the sun cooked
the ground.
Yeah, it cooked it right there in the ground. Now, a couple of things that you will find there, because it pretty much grows anywhere in the world, potatoes. That's a given. Your root vegetables. You'll have several different types of root vegetables growing there. You'll have, like I said, grains. Grains are going to be big for both brewing and for flour. So, I mean, you got yourself a good amount of stuff there. Probably throughout, you got lots of little farmsteads, and those farmsteads probably have a windmill where they grind their own grain into flour. But then they take that flour, and that's what gets shipped up to the big cities. And that's how these little farms make their money, because they grow the food that the big cities need. So they grow enough for themselves, but all that excess food that they have farmed and grown, there's no reason for them to hold on to it because all it would do is rot. Now, in the Golden Savannah, that's also your grasslands, where you're going to have farms that are literally for growing hay.
Yep, they do that here in Texas too.
All
they do is just grow alfalfa.
And that's to have feed for the animals during the colder seasons. The issues that they can run into, and I learned this from watching a documentary. I feel bad for these farmers watching this because the farmers I was watching, they were in England. So you get your hay growth going. It looks really great and everything. You're waiting for it to be dry for a couple of weeks. And that's when you have to harvest it. And when you harvest it, if it rains while it's being harvested, then instantly that crop is completely ruined. Because as soon as it gets wet, it's going to grow mold. And now you can no longer feed that to the animals. And then they've got to go import or purchase hay from other locations. But with an area this big, chances are they're pretty much self-sustaining to some degree. Now, what does this country not have? What this country doesn't have is an overabundance of minerals, meaning metals like iron, copper, that kind of stuff. And so Delphos imports a lot of its metals. And most of that comes from Melhorm. Melhorm has huge mines. Of coal, of iron, of copper, that they've just got an overabundance of metals. But what they're short on is decent farmland.
Mm-hmm.
So you wind up with a kind of a trade in between Delphos and Melhorm. And so we wind up growing even more food in Delphos, because now we're not just feeding this country, we're feeding another country. But this other country is providing supplies to where you can have better tools and everything to be able to do better farming. So it's, it's just the way economy works. Ooh, samples?
No, fall products.
Oh.
Where are mine?
I asked if it was samples, and my wife went, no, it's fall products. Darn it.
Yeah, I know.
So that gives a little bit of information there. I'm open for any other questions from chat. If y'all want to know anything else about the economy of the area, anything like that, this is the kind of stuff that Scott and I, we love talking about.
Yeah, and none of it's written down, by the way.
Yeah, not a single bit of it.
That's so funny. That would take time and effort.
But we know it off the top of our head.
Well, yeah, because, we're familiar. Okay.
Well, that, and you look at the map and you're going, all right, this is the temperature zone. This is what's growing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, pitch them out here. If not, we'll probably wrap up the stream here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
so yeah, I'm going to leave this open for 15 minutes for any questions from chat. You and I can keep talking, and then then we'll wrap up.
Okay, so if I don't have to spend points on enchantment spells,
no,
that gives me 5 points back. So I'll probably invest in some other spells then.
Okay.
So
yeah, no, I don't see I do not see a need or a reason for you to have to invest in that. Just because, number one, because of the mechanics of enchantment.
Yeah. Hand waving them is fine with me, to be honest.
Pix says we need crops for beer. I already told you we're growing grains. What do you think? What do you think beer comes from?
Yeah, barley, hops.
I mean, they make beer out of wheat.
There's wheat beer. Honey mead is also a product of wheat and honey, I believe. Yeah.
Tracy,
keep cooking it. Potatoes. You keep cooking the potatoes, you can make vodka.
look at what Tracy just threw at us.
Yes, the hills have eyes. So do the potatoes.
Yep.
Barley or barley?
That's barley.
Yeah, he missed an E. But that's all right. It's barely barley. I'm sure there's some other grains and stuff. You can probably Wikipedia a whole bunch of crap.
Now, it's interesting that barley isn't just used to make beer. They actually make barley wine.
They do?
It tastes nasty as hell, but they make it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another crop that's also probably farmed in that upper area near Caterin.
Yep.
Is grapes.
Oh, yeah. I did have vineyards up there.
Yeah, and I would definitely say that too, because the name the Caterin it's a Spanish name. So I dug it up off of a place name website and looking for something that's kind of Spanish origin there.
I tell you what, I do love a good Spanish wine.
Nothing like a sangria on a hot day, that's for sure.
And granted, personally, I actually prefer my wines from South America because I love a good Malbec.
I have not. I don't think I've had one.
It's very dry. But it's one of those wines. It tastes fantastic, and it's easy to relax with. However, Malbecs are kind of like IPAs. They tend to carry a little bit higher octane on them.
Oh.
A little. Whereas your white wines typically are sitting around, 3.5%, 4%. A Malbec's usually sitting around 6.5%, 7%.
All right. There's a spell on what?
I have had one Malbec that was 11.5%, and never again.
So sorry.
The heartburn I got from that thing. God. The next day it was just heartburn all freaking day long, and it was I wound up with a wine hangover that it didn't just go away in the morning. No, it persisted throughout the entire freaking day.
That's a wonderful one too. I'm so sorry.
That's what I said. Yeah, never again.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, did it taste good? Absolutely. It was phenomenal. The aftermath. That was the issue. But yeah, chat, we are looking for additional players. I'm going to talk to Nezarette because he's interested in learning GURPS. And he said he looked at the books and he couldn't make heads or tails out of them. And he's played tabletop before in the past, and he's like, "Oh, this is big. This is a lot." Oh, and apparently now they want me to have mer bunnies.
What the?
Mer bunnies. If I'm going to have those, they're going to be over by Nolanor. Because that's going to have to be the result of some freaky magic gone awry. Then again, we do have that one pond sitting there, that little lake there in the Carrion Wilderness. I guess they could be in there. There's a book. Yeah, there's actually a number of books for GURPS. Let me do this. Actually, Scott, you might be faster at this because I'm trying to do this on my laptop and I can barely read the thing. Want to put the link to Steve Jack? Oh, you won't be able to do that. Never mind. Oh, yes, you will. I know how.
Chat?
Yeah. So if you say something in chat, then I can click on your name and I can make you a mod, and then you'll be able to drop a link in there. Because right now you wouldn't be allowed to drop a link. But if you say something in there, then I can click the little button next to you and go turn him into a moderator. Gotcha.
So you need the link for Steve Jackson?
Yeah, well, to like let's throw up the link for the basic set. Oh,
Right. Okay. That's easy enough. We go there. Duh. Scott, press the buttons. I'll go right. I'll send the link for the store.
standard. There you go. Now you're a standard moderator on my channel. And you'll be able to throw up the link. There it is. So there you go, Pix, if you're curious. Mm-hmm. That's the link to the official books.
Yeah. On that page, there are also some other recommended books.
No, I did not make up GURPS. GURPS is made by Steve Jackson Games. The world of Ixia, the world we're playing in, that is what I made up and created. All the all the different countries, all the different storylines, everything that goes throughout this entire world is all created by me. But on the flip side, Scott has been helping me out with making lots of adjustments to it. He has been a phenomenal editor. I guess
for those of you that have not played at all ever and are interested, then this is a free publication from Steve Jackson Games.
Oh yeah, GURPS Lite, absolutely.
Start there if you want to just kind of jump into it a little bit. And honestly, that's the best. It was like for new players. When I was having new players, that was a handout. Here you go. Here's a handout. This is kind of what we're doing, And there's a lot. It's packed with a lot of just everything, really the need to know stuff.
Yep.
And then honestly, after that, everything's fluff, But that's literally it. There's not a whole lot you need to know to learn play GURPS, other than a willingness to learn and some motivation, to do what, to play.
But if anybody in chat wants to join us, like I said, we've got space for players. By all technicality, I have space for 3 players. Because I had originally intended this to be a group of 5. I'm down to 2 players. So we've got space for 3 more players.
Yeah. Yep, we sure do.
And even if you're not interested, if maybe you know somebody that might be interested in this kind of stuff, let them know. We've got an opening. And hit me up on Discord. Let me know that you've got somebody that's interested. That'd be awesome. So, and then I've got some other people that I'm trying to talk to see what kind of interest they might have. I got a couple people that are showing interest, but it's very light interest. So that's why I'm not holding my breath on those. But it'd be awesome if we get, honestly, even if we could just get one more player, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, because then we won't feel like we're just playing with ourselves. Oh, that's a pun. Double entendre.
You're a punny guy.
Okay.
Oh, nice, Frostbite. That was an awesome roll.
Rain of Stones. Let's look at that one.
And you know what, Tracy? You didn't need that much beer anyway, so losing 10,000 beers, I don't think it really hurts you. Also, Frostbite, can you throw up the commands for GURPS? So exclamation GURPS, exclamation Ixia, That also gets a bit more of that information in there. But, you know, we managed to use up almost our entire typical scheduled time for
interesting stuff. So
yeah, as well as things going. When I first thought about doing this and going, well, I'll stream it, and you and I talking and going over things, and then I was like, man, I mean, it might end up being a really short stream. It might only be like an hour and a half, and here we are, almost 3 hours in.
Let's see, earthquake. Just think of some ideas of some other battlefield control spells.
Thank you, Frostbite. Oh, earthquake! God, I hate that spell.
Yeah.
Okay. But on the flip side, it's expensive. So even when you get it up at the good night, baby. You sleep well. Even when you get it up at the higher levels, it's the spell's still expensive.
That's kind of looking that way. It's just easier to make a thickened hole and
It does. Tabletop RPGs do have a lot to discuss. And this got give chat a chance to just, you gotta have a small taste here on the kind of work and kind of discussions that GMs have in the background. There's stuff that doesn't typically come out while actually running the game. We try to think about things like what kind of crops, what kind of what's the economy like? Because by knowing the economy, then when we go to different villages and stuff, we have an idea of what the populace there is like. What do they live off of? What's the what's the financial status of that particular area? If it's a small farming community, then it probably doesn't have a lot of money, but it has a lot of goods. And they may be a group that trades more in goods than they do in money. So
that's what I just realized what I need, and I don't have it.
Well, and doing the planning, Tracy, that's something that Scott and I have been doing for decades.
Yeah, we do. We spend a lot of time on that.
And between the two of us, I think we've got almost 70 years in GMing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what else is interesting?
What's that?
And honestly, a lot of this stuff that I have I use in my game, I've used years ago, and all I did was bring it to digits, to onto the computer. It makes more sense, just to recycle some stuff if you need to, because you got new players. Why reinvent the wheel? So that's the thing. And then, there's always that twist. Okay, maybe we can do the same thing with a different group, but change it up a bit.
And absolutely, Frostbite, you're correct there. Building a world is not a scenario in just some place.
Mm-hmm. No. Takes work. Takes inspiration.
And and that's part of the goal for us as GMs. I mean, the Mutants game where he's got his Duff Dub area and all that kind of stuff. He's put a lot of thought into what he's got going on over there, and it helps bring it to life. You can feel what the area is like. You don't even have to listen to the politics. You don't have to hear about the politics, but you can get the feel for how the politics works just because of what the culture's like.
Mm-hmm.
And how people react, how people do things. Now the trick is, as a GM, you got to stay consistent.
Mm-hmm. Because you players will catch us. You'll love that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You break your consistency, and honestly, that actually breaks the immersion.
It does.
What's the GM stand for? Gamemaster.
General manager. Oh, sorry.
There's three terms that are more or less interchangeable, but they're not interchangeable in my opinion. So you have DM, Dungeon Master. You have GM, Game Master. And then you have ST, which is your storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
Scott and I tend to lean heavier into the Game Master / storyteller. Dungeon Master is more along the lines of, and I've played games like this, and I'm even guilty of being the DM, where it's just you crank out dungeon after dungeon, and you just create bigger and bigger threats.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not really a storyline that goes with it. And as I've gotten older and more experienced with my game mastering, game master means that you know the rules, you know the books, you know, and I don't mean you have to have all the books memorized, but you know enough of it to where if you have to make a ruling, you can make a ruling that stays pretty consistent with how you know the rules are typically written. So if you have to wing a rule, you can, and it won't be game breaking. I've had plenty of occasions in the past when I was a younger DM, GM, ST, and I made a ruling on a rule, and it was later on you go and look up the actual ruling on it, and your ruling was so bizarrely off the wall different from what was in there that it became almost game breaking because the players loved the fact that you made this ruling because you didn't know the rules, and they wanted to make you stick with the way you ruled it last time. And so that's why I'm in the habit now of going, all right, this time I'm going to rule it this way, and I'm going to make myself a note to go look this up afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I do I'm going to make myself a note and look things up afterwards is because if I'm having to go dig through the books to go find the rule, that breaks the immersion. Because now you got to wait for the 15, 20 minutes for me to dig through the books to find that ruling. And then there's other times, Scott and I have both done this. We don't like the way the book's got a particular rule written. It doesn't fit our story. It doesn't fit our way of the way that we're running that particular game. And so we just make a flat ruling, and that's how it stays for the rest of the game. Until somebody goes and abuses it.
Yeah, and that'll happen.
And then
it's human nature.
And then we fix the ruling.
Mm-hmm. What's the other one I added? Oh yeah, reverse missiles. You're gonna love that one, Chris.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nobody
because
shoots the mage.
Yeah, well, the worst part is that it actually works against spells.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work against area effect spells.
Well.
So throw grenades at the mage. Got it.
Ah, not necessarily. if it's still a grenade when it gets to me, guess what?
Oh, no. I'm going to be aiming for the ground right in front of you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I think I've got everything. That's okay. I'm just going to cast darkness everywhere and then use my dark vision spell. I'll call y'all.
So, well, hey, Scott, I appreciate you joining in tonight to be able to just, at the Mayor Benham, just kind of do some ST discussion and, give the chat a kind of a background seat or a backstage pass into what goes into planning things out.
Yeah, it's there. Sometimes there's a lot of thought put into things, and then sometimes, it's like, oh, this just makes sense, and then, as a GM, especially anybody, game mastering, inspiration comes from wherever you find it. I guarantee you.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll walk it along, and hey, that's a great idea. Pops in my head or whatever, But there are other things too, and one of the things that I learned, especially with the sci-fi and the modern games, is that there's so much real-life stuff that you can pull from if you just think about it, and how people act and stuff, that you could literally, and it makes the game easier to believe. So keep that in mind when just like writing, and it's pretty much what it is authoring a story. An interactive story, but write from where you know. That's the best way to go about it.
Yep.
So
to answer Tracy's question here, Tracy asks, if someone casts a spell, do they have to roll dice or something to see how effective it will be?
That is correct.
Well, yes and no. Rolling the dice for the spell itself, casting the spell, that's basically a pass or fail.
Yep.
You either cast a spell or you don't. The effectiveness of a spell, that all depends on how much energy you pump into it. And different spells have different limitations on how much energy can be pumped into it. Some spells have just a flat rate, like Steel Wraith. Don't you dare take that spell. Oh my god.
It was on my list to guess, but I also remembered some skills that I had at 0 points that I needed to bump up. So.
Okay. God, that.
So because I have a teleport spell, but I had body sense at default, which was 6, so I needed to bump that a little.
So Steel Wraith's base cost. Steel Wraith costs 8 energy, or 7 energy. But the thing is that there's no improving it. You either cast it and it's on, or you fail. Whereas a spell like, say, what's a good one to go with? Lightning Bolt?
Because it's a damage spell. So yeah, that would determine quote how effective it is.
Yeah, so Lightning Bolt, you've got multiple rolls. You've got the casting of the spell, so you've managed to cast it. Then you can spend a couple of rounds powering it up, pumping more and more energy into it. Then you still have to. Then you still got to roll the last thing, and how accurate are you with it?
Yeah, that's a whole separate issue.
And then you hit the enemy. If you pumped a bunch of energy into it, then yeah, it's going to be extremely effective, especially if they're wearing metal armor. Which I realize makes magic sound complicated, but the thing is that, in my experience, GURPS magic is actually less complicated than D&D magic. But for me, GURPS magic also makes more sense. So the reason it makes more sense to me is because Fireball. We'll use Fireball as our example. Fireball has, I know, Fireball has a handful of prerequisite spells, which means that you have to know how to do these things with magic before you can make a fireball. So, for instance, in order to be able to make a fireball with magic, well, the first thing you need to know is how to make fire with magic. And then you need to know how to shape the fire.
Yep. 2 of the prerequisite spells there.
So, it's all that build up, and some of these spells, and some people complain about this because they're going, man, I got to dump so many character points into all these prerequisite spells just so I can have the spell that I want. But then you have people like Scott that have even encountered this, where they dump their 1 point in their prerequisite spells, and then they wind up in a situation. And they're looking at their spells, and they're looking at one of the spells that was in that prerequisite list that they haven't put hardly any points into, and they're going, oh, wait, I can use this in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's the fun part with GURPS, is that you can be very inventive and thoughtful on how you apply your magical spells.
Yeah, like Shape Earth is one of the is a early on create Earth spell, and it's prerequisite for quite a few things. But if you have enough points and you've mastered it well enough, you can do things like create a 10-foot deep, 10-foot wide, 10 wide, and basically a huge 10 cubic foot pit.
Right.
To control the battlefield or funnel people around it or just drop somebody in it, is one of the things. You can use Shape Earth, and then additionally with Shape Stone, for example. If there's a door you can't open, then we'll just use Shape Stone, which is basically Shape Earth, and remove the stone from around where the hinges are bolted in, and then the door comes off. So
and
stuff like that.
You don't have to remove it. You just have to weaken it.
Yeah, weaken it. Like I said, just disconnect the hinge bolts from the stone.
Lunas, what's going on, brother? Frostbite, please make sure to get an exclamation Lunas in there for me.
So there's a lot of things.
There is. Now, speaking of that kind of stuff, one of the things I've discovered over time playing GURPS, most people who play mages, they want to play with the flashy spells. They want to play with the Shape Earth. They want to play with the fire. They want to play with the lightning. There's a college of spells that just gets absolutely ignored, that I have found works amazing for my enemies. Now, granted, my players, like Scott, now that they've seen that I've started using this kind of stuff, they've gone quick to go, oh, no, we're countering that shit. But that's the light and darkness spells.
Yeah, that's fixed now. And it's battlefield control, so.
It is. And that's a lot of what your mages are. Your mages are your crowd control. They're your battlefield control. For instance, what's become kind of a go-to for the group, especially now it's a whole lot smaller, is he throws invisibility on the group, which makes it where I can't hardly hit them, and they can. Any kind of basic enemies I throw at them, they can just mow through them.
Yep.
They might not be able to mow through them quite as much as they used to be able to, because now the only meat shield you've got is Flaristic. But even then, you invisible, him invisible. Yeah, that still winds up making it a nasty combination.
Well, and the cool thing is we don't necessarily have to fight every enemy we find either.
Exactly.
So that's one of the things that new players often think they have to attack everything and they can't retreat. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Like I say, if you find yourself in a fair fight, you've already failed.
Well, even in the Mutants game, there's been several times where I'm going, nope, nope, I'm backing out of this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I have to be careful with that because, I think about the disadvantages I have with my character. And, if I wind up playing my character overly cautious, then Scott can go, no, you gotta roll your disadvantage. And if you succeed at it, then fine. But so I try to play myself overconfident and impulsive enough to where he never has to pull the GM trigger going, no, you're playing your character way too cautious, for the disadvantages you have. So, I make sure I'm doing plenty of stupid shit with him.
Yeah, you've done your fair share of foolishness. You have done well, sir.
And I've had fun doing it too.
Yeah, that's the best part, though.
Because I can't count the number of times I'm going, oh, this is such a bad idea. I'm going to go push the button.
Yeah, been there, done that.
So, now, I have an ask for you. When we wrap up the Wastelands game, will you please run a superheroes game?
I just got to get good players. Honestly, at that point, I mean, I can run it. I'll still run the Gulf Coast Avengers game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it that way.
Well, that and the reason I'm asking is kind of twofold. One is I want to play, but two is because I'm streaming the games. It'll really help show off the versatility of GURPS. Because now they'll have seen us doing Dungeon Fantasy, they'll have seen us doing the mutants, and then all of a sudden it's going to be powers and whatnot.
If I do that, then I'm also going to use the animations, so that way when your character uses its power or whatever.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
There'll be some cool stuff going on. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have to. What I'm gonna have to do though is I'm gonna have to build a powers list, because honestly, Patrick and his off the wall shit that he's built before, I'm like, come on, dude, I want to do something different. Well, different doesn't necessarily mean useful.
Exactly.
You seen that meme with the bent fork?
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I mean, I could do that too.
Although I thought about going with his concept, but going with a different power set and building a superhero with animal control.
Yeah, there's that.
But right now, I don't even know what kind of superhero I'd want to build. I mean, as far as I know, I might want to build, Deadpool. Which I know is not allowed in your games.
Well, yes and no. You might get blown up, and you get the healing problem and all that. Yeah, so there is that.
Right. But
he's over there, and over there. Which end do you want to talk to?
And I'm just thinking, shit, this hurts.
But yeah, honestly, I if you want to play a character that, you just pull it out of Marvel or DC, I'm okay with that.
But
name it whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
Oh hell, then I'm building Ghost Rider.
You got Batman, and and whatever. Ghost Rider. I guess we could do that too. And that's easy to do too. So, for example,
well, I mean, Ghost Rider's by far my favorite comic book character, but I wouldn't want to build the Ghost Rider with the motorcycle or the Ghost Rider with a car. I'd want to go. I want to go back to the one with the horse.
Yeah, You know, and that is still okay. Because honestly, the way I would build that is, you know, the horse is it's flight, okay, but it's
Okay.
road bound, okay, and it would have one of the limitations was the annoyance factor of the, you know, the flaming footprints and all.
Right.
You know, and also it has, you know, like a fear aura, so as a side effect. So whenever you're riding even the character itself, but you know, the horse too by itself.
As a weird
know.
side note, and I realize this is, we've really, you know, gone off the rails here, but a recent piece of quote unquote research was done. Comparisons were done, trying to figure out who the fastest superhero was in both the DC and Marvel universes. And it's the whole comparing the Flash to the Superman. It's all the, you know, Quicksilver versus the Flash. And it has been determined that the character that is the fastest out of the entire multiverse of DC and Marvel is Ghost Rider.
What's the logic? He just can be faster than anybody else.
Yeah, because he can just show up.
That's interesting.
He uses the pathways of hell to traverse time and space.
So he's not necessarily faster. He's just got shortcuts.
He does, but it makes
faster. In the definition of velocity, that's not faster. That's just shortcuts. Simple as that. Because I mean, yeah, if you could literally, like, you know, they do, and you know, they fold space.
Yep.
You're traveling without moving. There's
True.
no velocity involved.
Very true.
So I can't say that that's faster. What I can say that he travels quicker. Yes, travels faster, but
there are
velocity,
those.
No.
So yes, Frostbite. There are those that teleport, like Night Stalker, or
Night Stalker.
He's another one of my favorites, but he doesn't have shortcuts, and his is short distances. Ghost Rider apparently can use hell to travel through time.
But using his you know, Frostbite's example of teleporting, that movement is instantaneous, right?
Right.
So therefore, no matter how far he goes, it's instantaneous. You can't measure it. It's fastest.
True.
If you're talking about, you know, distance traveled, because it's instant. I mean, like, it's faster than light. Even he's there and he's not.
But you know, like I said, I've got all kinds of ideas for superheroes, but
oh yeah,
I mean, and you've seen how it's worked out for me. Every single time I've tried running a superheroes game, it has fallen on its face.
Well, it's just the players. A lot of it's the players.
It could be the players, but I also feel like I just don't have. I don't want to call it a skill, but I just don't have the gumption to really be able to run a supers game. I would like to, but sometimes I think I put too much thought into running a supers game. You know,
well, that could be it too. You know, that could be it too. You only need just what you need. You know, for the you know, there's that. Just like I haven't gotten rid of all my notes from the Monster Hunters International game.
Well, and that's part of the reason I'm asking for you to run a supers game, because I want to play in a supers game with you running it so that I can learn.
Mm-hmm. All right, I understand. Well,
oh, and then after that, you're going to run Monster Hunters International again, because oh my god, I love that game so much.
Well, it's okay. So it looks like I got my next couple of years planned out.
Hey, and chat, y'all get to look forward to, you know, several campaigns. Now, for me, I'll be sticking with the Dungeon Fantasy, but you can ask Scott, when I run a Dungeon Fantasy campaign, my campaigns tend to go for the long haul. They run for several years.
Yeah, well, there's, as long as we can keep players.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did have the revolving door on a couple of the player spots.
Yeah, we do. I also wouldn't mind trying to run a sci-fi, space game, but there's so much of that shit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, running a space opera.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, something. I have so many different ideas on that, but I just can't nail anything down. That isn't really just it's Star Wars. It's I mean, we could do running in the Star Wars universe, but then everyone wants to be a Jedi and all this. Like, we're not. I guess if anything, I think the space game that would want to run will be based on Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, I'd love that.
I think that because that kind of it's grittier. It's interesting, and it's not so ultra tech that it's
Yeah, well,
them,
it's not Space Wizards.
No, exactly, not Space Wizards or Vikings. Yes.
But oh my God, yeah! If you wrote up something that you said you're going to be basing off of Cowboy Bebop, I guarantee you, I'd be writing my character based off Spike.
Oh, who isn't?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I like his partner. His partner's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind running that.
But
or something in the Robotech universe would also be cool. But that genre is based on mecha and all that crap.
Give me a Gundam. All right.
So there's, I could even for another thing I would run would be something like Reign of Steel, but in the Ogre universe, for example. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that board game from Steve Jackson.
I am,
but yeah, that's another universe I wouldn't mind seeing. But from the human side of things, where they're rogue ogres or ones that have slaves. So it basically kind of probably would boil down to a Terminator game. I mean, I could do a Terminator universe too.
Actually, we got enough people. We got enough people to chat. So why don't we throw it to them?
But one of the things that I'm doing with TMNT, the mutant game, is there are Terminator robots out there.
Oh,
or
God.
exterminator robots. I've ran into a couple.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Just three. I've ran into two models of exterminators.
Yeah. Those spiders are. Jeez.
Those things are fucking scary.
They are. Although I'm starting to now get my plan on how to deal with them.
Oh yeah, that would be a learning curve. Get to the next model.
I got my solution for them right now. As long as I have the tools on me, I know how to deal with them.
Oh, okay.
It requires some acrobatics rolls.
Yeah, not getting sliced in half by one of them freaking claws.
Yeah. So, and luckily I've got pretty decent acrobatics, but basically I'm thinking about taking a 10th square of the gecko sticky stuff, strap it to a bomb, and then jump over the thing, and as I'm doing a little somersault over it, stick the bomb on its back. And
that's what Raymond wound up doing with the other one.
Exactly.
He still got blown away.
So, out of curiosity, chat, y'all have heard us talk about several settings now. So, when we wrap up one or the other game, actually it'll probably be Scott's game more likely because I've got myself pretty much buried in Dungeon Fantasy.
Yeah, you do.
What setting would y'all like to see next after the mutants? I know that I asked for supers, but I'm curious to see what chat would be interested to see because if they want to see something different, like the Monster Hunters, or if they want to see the space opera, or if they want to see the Cowboy Bebop, or if they want to see the Zoomers. So I'm curious. So yeah, chat. We'll keep this open for another 5 minutes. We'll see what your responses are, and we'll take it under consideration. Oh, I enjoyed Monster Hunters so much. Although, if we do Monster Hunters again, we got to reach out to Tiffany and let her know we're doing Monster Hunters.
Yeah, but is she gonna? She didn't want to play with this one we're at now.
Yeah, true.
So I think she's done playing games.
She may be.
There's another genre. Yeah. I thought about doing the Firefly genre, but there's too many people get butthurt if I change anything in that one. So.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is that by doing Cowboy Bebop is basically Firefly.
Yeah.
Because it's a space western.
Yeah, pretty much. I like the style better though.
I mean, okay, fine. Cowboy Bebop includes, kung fu.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Frostbite likes the idea of supers.
Yeah.
Tracy?
Yeah.
Tracy, you got a thought?
Do I even still have that? Yes, I do. They are.
Well, I mean, and this had to be a decision right now because, we still got plenty of stuff to do with the mutants. But, when we get closer to that particular game potentially wrapping up or anything, I don't know, Scott, what do you think about leaving it up to chat to decide on what the next theme is going to be?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean,
I'm open to suggestions.
I mean, we give them options, not.
I could do supers. I could twist it up a little bit. Definitely, it's the supers game I run isn't like it's more tongue-in-cheek Marvel as opposed to dark DC or the Watchmen.
Right.
So the characters need to be heroic and not Batman brooding on the gargoyle.
But
kind of crap.
But I wanted my brooding spot.
I know there's a line for it. Don't you know?
Yes, I've seen that meme.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, or it could also run a fantasy game too.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't want to throw fantasy out there is because I've kind of got that caveat already going right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that's why I like running into anything but fantasy because honestly, I got enough fantasy throughout my life as it is. But at the same time, making maps is so much easier because there's so much shit out there.
Tracy put her list of the order of what she wants to see.
So yeah, the supers, then Cowboy Bebop, and Monster Hunter, huh? Mm.
I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I was kind of enjoying the Monster Hunters game, but yeah, it's getting burnt out.
Yeah, and I knew you were. I mean, the tough part with Monster Hunters, of course, I play Monster Hunters again. I'm going to play another Ritual Path Magic user.
Yeah. Which I can GM that. That's not an issue.
Yeah. But you only want one Ritual Path Magic user in a group like that.
Yeah. You really need in a game like that. You need people to play the different roles because literally, you need to have the correct party mix. Otherwise, you're just going to get eaten up.
Yeah.
That's a lethal game.
But that's what I liked about it. And we need the right players too, because they need to be able to do we need to be able to do the surgical military strike type of maneuvers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anybody who's read Monster Hunter International or any of Larry Correia's Monster Hunters books would be a great candidate as a player. So yeah, and they're great books too. Check them out. They're a great escape. And the cool thing is that Larry Correia, the main character is based off his own personal life. And he is a gun nut, and he is was an accountant. Now he's a writer.
Okay.
So he really is. Yeah.
Oh, so the Larry in game is Larry.
No, he's freaking no. What to say? Not Larry. No, he what the hell's it? I'm trying to think about it. The main character in the Monster Hunter International series. Not Larry. Wow. Brain fart. Anyway, but yeah, that character is based off him in his real life because Larry Correia is a big man, you know.
Okay.
And he literally, I mean, he through the results of his successful career as a writer, he has bought some acreage in the mountains outside of Salt Lake City. I think it's in Heber or County or something like that. And he, built a huge, big house where what he writes. But also, he's also built a personal gun range there. And so he shoots all the time. He goes to competitions, does stuff there too. So yeah, when he talks about guns, he knows what he's talking about.
Gotcha.
Even in his books. So I mean, as I was saying, as a writer, write from where you know. So, if I ran like a ogre game, for example, and the characters, I would be drawing from my experience on tanks and in the army in the battlefield.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
And that's kind of that's kind of how I write.
So, but all right, chat. I think we are going to go ahead and wrap things up here. But before I close things up, so guys, I don't have enough followers or anything to where I can actually raid somebody. So instead, I'm going to post a link here, and if y'all would go give Petra a visit. And tell them DDG sent you. And I appreciate everybody that's been here to support us. I really appreciate the 10 likes. You guys rock. This has been amazing. And, hey, I'm glad y'all found the chat interesting.
Yeah.
So, but yes, please hop over, use that link, go visit Petra, and tell them I sent you over there.
Excuse me. Well, I had to get up a little earlier than usual because I'm going to my grandson's school tomorrow for their Veterans Day celebration thing.
All right, bud. Well,
I'll be a guest or an honored guest, I guess.
You would? Oh. Absolutely.
I'd be a veteran. Yeah.
Well, my daughters will be marching in the Veterans Day Parade on Saturday.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, awesome. Glad to take pictures. That'll be nice to see.
I'll make sure to do that.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Well, hold on.
I appreciate you.
I got to find out from my wife on that one because apparently that there was some kerfuffle on which troop was going to be marching in the parade, which makes no sense.
Just take them all. Okay,
That's what I thought.
But apparently, yeah,
But, all right, Scott, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me tonight. And chat, thank you, everybody, for being here. And, hey, I'll meet y'all over in Petra's stream. So y'all have a great night.
Yep. Take it easy, folks.